right, can we get a little love here, Johnson? Can we get a little love here, Johnson? Jesus Christ, man. Oh, goodness gracious, man. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I'm trying to tell you, man. It's crazy. What's up, people? My name is Tim Black. You are checked into the Tim Black Show. Not only is this the Tim Black Show, you are about to partake of the Freedom Friday show on the Tim Black Show, which is a marvelous thing, Johnson. It's a magical thing. It's a magical thing. People sound off on this show. 319-527-6212 is the phone number that you dial into. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Black's Wolfpack, how are you? 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 Trying to get ready. We'll be okay here. How are you? 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 Can people hear me out there? Am I loud and clear, man? Jesus gracious, man. Jesus, God, are we okay? Are we okay? I see I got some moderators. I got any moderators? Yes, I got a couple moderators. I thought I did. David Melford's in the house. What's up, David? What's going on, David? Welcome, David. What's up, Courtney SLP? What's going on? Wow, 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 wow. Sign of the times. Thank you. Thank you, Johnsons. Thank you. I got my moderators. They're going to try to keep it somewhat civil. It's going to be crazy tonight. It's going to be crazy tonight. But we like crazy. Without crazy, what would we do? We got to keep it real. We got to talk about it. We can't shy away from the real deal, can we, Johnson? That wouldn't be what the Tim Black Show does. You don't want to be a part of that show. Show scurrying around like rats, running from the truth, running from the hard truth. So, what about my Tim Black Wolfpack? Y'all in the house? We got Tim Black Wolfpack in the house. My members in the house. Wants to keep the lights on, keep the show going. Thank you, Don the Farmer. Thank you, Nancy Drew. Thank you, Famcom Network. The Famecom. Who else is here? Lady Jackie's in the house. The usual suspects in the house. Tony D in the house. Super Ken Dog. Nat A. Hey, Nat A, how you doing? Yes, yes, yes. The members have returned. Keith, what's up, Keith? How you doing, fam? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Susan Gould, thank you for tuning into the show. Thank you for being a member of the show. Wow, we got to let people know we're doing this live, man. Can we get some more likes? Can we get some pump up the likes? Can we get some likes, engage, comment, say stupid stuff, or say smart stuff, or say something, and let's just engage with the content. You got to engage with the content. It's why YouTube will let more people know that we got something going on over here. Without engagement, they just say, hey, did a tree fall in the forest? No one cares. No one heard it. So we got to get the likes up, Johnson. Get the likes up. Do I want to mess them? See if I can. What about Twitter? I got a few people on Twitter still. Not many people on Twitter. I could try to reach out to my Twitter folks. Let them know what's going on here. Every little bit helps, Johnson. Every little bit helps. Come on now. Got any Twitter people going on? Twitter. Promoting this to Twitter. And I'm just going to say it loud and clear. Live now. Tweet. Done. Back over here to my phone calls. There we go. So we can get ready for the phone calls. Please share it, hit the like button. Let people know that you're watching the show tonight. This is it, Johnson. This is it. We are going deep undercover, Johnson. We're going deep undercover. We got a lot to talk about. And we are going to hurt some feelings tonight. Oh, we're going to hurt some feelings right on the precipice of Memorial Day. Oh, we're going to hurt some feelings tonight. What's up, Shell? What's up, Shell? How you doing, Johnson? Wow, what's going on? What's going on? Keith Weston's in the house. Thank you, Keith, for tuning in as well. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Can we get the shares up, Johnson? Wow. They really don't want people to know we do this show at all, do they? Jesus Christ, man. We pull out all the stops, and what is YouTube? Come on, YouTube. Fucking YouTube. David Melford, what's up, baby? Share the stream, share the stream. Man, I tell you, Johnson, I tell you. What we got here? I think they're afraid of what we might say, Johnson. Is that it? They don't want the world to hear what we have to say tonight? They saw the title. They said, oh no, not in my house. Not in my house, Tim Black. We're going to talk that real shit tonight. If we're not going to talk real, I don't even know why you want to do a show, Johnson. I don't get it. What good is media coverage if the media coverage ain't covering shit? I'm trying to figure it out, Johnson. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. It's money, right? Capitalistic society, got to make money. You got pockets. You got to put money in them. What good is a bank account without no money in it? You got to piggy bank. You want to fill it up. You got to buy the top of the bar, liquor. Can't drink the Bacardi. Rum. You know, you got to hit the fancy stuff. You can't drink the Coors. You need the special IPA with the weird emoji on it or something. Like, you can't do what regular people do. So you got to sell your soul. You got to lie to the people in order to do what, Johnson? Make a damn living. No, 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 not in this house. So we're going to talk about the shooting because so much more information has come out about the shooting. Yeah, so much more has come out about the shooting that it must be addressed, Johnson. This is horrific what's happening. You get what I'm saying? What's up, Nat? What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Cut the motherfucker. Boy, I tell you, man, I got the best people. They don't care. They just say, hey. They get mad. Hey, I don't care, man. I don't care. I'm going to say what I got to say. I love my people, man. They got so much spirit. The world tries to beat them down. They just keeps on standing up anyway, don't they, Johnson? Give it up for the Tim Black Wolfpack, man. It's a saying we should say about here, guys. We got to get to 100 likes before we start the show, so come on now. There's a saying we should say. We should say this all the time. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. And you know what? I believe in that saying. I got it from the movie Life. Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. Funny movie. 100 years ago. And you gonna eat your cornbread. Man, I'm trying to tell you, Johnson. You look, don't let nobody take your cornbread. In the movie Life, someone goes in these two guys, Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, go to jail. Now, Martin doesn't understand the streets, but Eddie knows the streets. He knows how life works in the prison system. And he's like, look, this big dude was flirting with Martin, but Martin didn't understand. That's what was happening. Right? Martin didn't get it. Like he was slow on the uptake. He was slipping. He was unaware. You get what I'm saying? So, this big dude, big dude, asks little Martin, he says, you gonna eat your cornbread? And Martin's like, no, you can have it, And Eddie stepped in, and he's like, no, man. Don't you go giving nobody your cornbread now. You give me your cornbread, they're gonna take everything from you. Can't start giving people stuff. See, part of the problem we have in America is some of us have been giving away our cornbread. That's a problem. We've been giving away our damn cornbread. You give it away your rights. You give away your freedom of speech. You give away your freedom of opinion. You give away your freedom of assembly. You give away your freedom of choice. You're giving it away. Now, I especially got to rile up my black folks on this because if we give away everything, we're going to end up back in chains in America. See, we cannot get caught slipping. Because some of us, see, we hear a lot about our gangster young youth, our youth that is, hardcore, gang, 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 gang. Well, we got some nerdy black youth that are far removed from reality. And they have a false sense of security. In short, they don't believe that bad shit can happen. They don't believe that bad things happen. And they think that when we talk about bad things, Johnson, that we're exaggerating, that we're old school, and we're being negative. See, they don't understand. They don't get it. Black people still coming up missing in America. We don't even know where they at. Nobody looking for them. They're gone. Well, maybe he went out to get some pizza. He just got caught a ride to El Segundo on the way. Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad. Cut out, Dad. They don't think so. So what we have to do is remind them how dirty, low down, and corrupt this country can be, has been, and continues to be to this day. It's got sanitized, it's gotten nice, it's gotten politically correct, but it's still the same country. So we can't let nobody take our cornbread, because we let somebody take our cornbread. We're going to sip it to complacency all the way, and before you know it, you'll be outside busting up the Schifferow. And we can't be busting up the Schifferow. Come on now, Johnson. Come on now. We cannot fall for the okie doke. So ladies and gentlemen, the Tim Black Wolf Pack, all people watching right now, make a commitment right now. Make a commitment right now. Make a commitment. Commit to yourselves that you will not let anyone take your damn cornbread. No taking of the cornbread, Johnson. My bad, I gotta be my business cameras. Don't let nobody take your damn cornbread. That's your cornbread. I want you to keep your cornbread where it is. All right? Come on now. We need 25 more likes. We got 100, almost 150 people watching. Can we get 25 more likes? And we're going to start the show. We got a lot to talk about. Then we're going to go to phone lines. We're going to open up the phone lines and let people have their conversation. I want to hear what you got to say. I'm going to do my best. Oh, I've been meditating. So I'm going to try to be more patient, man. I'm going to try to be more patient. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. I'm going to try to count it out. So tonight, call up. It's important. We got to hear different schools of thought. Okay? Different schools of thought. Okay? We're at 91. We only got a few more to go, Johnson. We're almost at the door. I'm trying to tell you, man, we are doing it. We are doing it. When we get to 100 likes so that the Tim Black Wolf Pack can kick off Friday, Freedom Friday, right here live. I'm trying to tell you something now. Look, guys, this is the best damn show on the internet. They want to tell me that some of these other corny shows that are very diluted are great shows. I beg to differ. It's just that I'm not an ass kisser. I'm an ass kicker. Come on, Johnson. See, there's a big difference, Johnson. That's the problem. America's built on ass kissery. All the great comedians have told you this. All the great comedians. Paul Mooney, what did he tell you? If you're not kissing that ass, you're going to be late for class because you got to be kissing. Come on, Tim Black. You got to kiss ass. Come on now. You're black, you're big, you're old. Come on, you got to kiss ass. Oh, niggas, you be out here sweating and kissing ass, Tim Black. That's what they want you to do, Negro. You got to kiss ass. You got to kiss ass. That's what you got to do. If you want to get far, you got to kiss ass and run far. You got to drive the car. You can drive Mrs. Davis' car if you want to get far. Who else told you? Patrice O'Neal told you. Patrice O'Neal, one of the greatest comedians. He told you. He said the reason why he couldn't get where he wanted to get as far as he wanted to get. Why? Because he would not kiss that ass. It's a kiss-ass country, Johnson. And if you're not kissing ass, people don't want to let you in the door, Johnson. That's the problem. Another great comedian, Corey Holcomb, does not kiss butt cheeks. Refuses to kiss ass or drop his pants or any of that. See, that's the problem. And even worse, he says things people don't want him to say. And when he finds out you don't want him to say it, what does he do? He says it louder. It's like a challenge. So that's the reason why we are fighting. We're fighting the algorithm. We're fighting the powers that be. We're fighting to get our words spread because we think they matter. We think it's important that America understands what's important to us. We do not miss words. This is one of the last vestiges of reality on this internet. We are fighting censorship. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Join this show. Call up. We are mean, but we are meaningful. All right. I'm going to give it up to everybody who hit like. Everybody hit like. Come on now. I would like for us to hit 500 viewers tonight. That's not much to ask. That's not much to ask. We are worth it. Our message is worth it. Our message is worth it. I'm not going to be happy if we don't hit 500. We're that damn good, Johnson. You're that good. You're that good. I said you are that good. You don't know how good you are? You're that damn good, Johnson. My chat room. Greg Costa, what's up, baby? Cyrus, what's going on? America, black people love America too much. We don't love America too much, Johnson. Come on, Holmes. This is our home, Johnson. We got to stop this shit. We got to stop this. You got to stop it. You got to stop it. It's the only home people know. It's the only home we have. We have a vested interest in this country. All of us, everybody, all American citizens have a vested interest in this country. Some of us have been here longer, but if this is your home, you have a vested interest in your home. Are you a homeowner? T. Holmes. Are you a homeowner? If you are a homeowner, you have a vested interest in your neighborhood. See, this is something I got pissed off about last week. Earlier this week, I should say, because there are people calling in who don't really give a shit. They act like America's problems aren't black problems. America's problems aren't poor people problems. America's problems are not poor people problems. No. Everything that happens in America is our problem. Everything that happens in America affects us. This is a political show and a news show. We talk about what happens in the world. We don't just talk about what happens on your block. And if you don't believe that what happens in this country doesn't affect you, that you are somehow siloed off into some strange corner of the country where nothing impacts you, you are delusional. Other people are trying to pick up their bag. How you gonna pick up a bag, Johnson, if you don't even count? If you're not a part of what's going on? If nothing matters to you? That's not my business. I hear people saying this. Some of y'all should have never been given the damn internet. I'm serious, man. Some people don't need the internet, Johnson. I'm trying to tell you, man, they don't need internet connections. They operate on slow time. That ain't for me. We got other things to worry about. Now, I can see you saying you don't care what happens in Zimbabwe. Motherfucker, this happened in Texas. It happened in Texas. All right, so let's get going, Johnson. Let's get this. Let's see if we can make some sense out of this. Okay, first of all, I want to lay this down for people because I want to bring people up to speed on this. Okay, first of all. All right, because I think some people are not getting it. Where are we going? Are we here? Are we here? I want people to understand that an 18-year-old Salvador Ramos who works at Wendy's had enough money saved up to buy not one, but two Daniel Defense rifles priced at $1,800 plus 375 pieces of ammunition. How much are they paying people at Wendy's? I want to know how much are they paying people at Wendy's, Johnson. I'm not getting it. What bank did Ramos rob? I'm hearing he may have bought the guns on credit. Folks, I'm trying to understand, how does a kid get credit who's 17 working at Wendy's? I need somebody to explain to me how this is working. How it's working that Psycho Sal was able to save not 1,000, not 2,000, not 3,000, not 4,000, almost $5,000. Living with his parents. He shot his grandmama in the face. She needs reconstructive surgery. Who activated this guy? How was he able to do this? Don't tell me he did it all alone. I don't believe that a 17-year-old saves $5,000, Johnson. So when people say, Tim, what about the gun laws? We're going to get to all that. But first, I want us to wrap our heads collectively around the idea that a 17-year-old, for his 18th birthday, was able to walk into a gun store and purchase not one, but two rifles, each valued at nearly $2,000 after taxes, plus almost 500 pieces of ammunition. Now, where they do that at? Where they do that at? That makes sense to you, Johnson? Is that making sense to you? That don't make sense to me. Okay, so my conspiracy people, I want to knock you. I want to say calm down on conspiracies. But in this situation, I gotta understand. It don't make no damn sense, Johnson. Part of being poor, part of the reason why they like to keep us poor is they want to keep resources out of our hands. If we have lack of resources, then we have less ability to do what? To upset the apple cart. Salvador Ramos, at 17 years old, had more money at his disposal, was able to get credit quicker than a lot of you able to get credit in order to take care of your families. You understand what I'm saying? He was able to walk into a store and get credit for 2 different guns. What had he purchased? What had he purchased that he had his credit so high? So there's a lot of questions here. I'm still trying to figure this out. I want to understand it. The other thing you need to know about Salvador Ramos is this was not an outlier situation. People knew about Salvador. Salvador had problems. Salvador was bullied at school. Bullied extensively at school, Johnson. So understand this. Bullied at school to the point because he was poor. Back to my point about where to get the money for the guns. I'm just asking questions. Ain't that what they say? Isn't that what Ben Shapiro says? I'm just asking questions. Isn't that what they all say? Tucker Carlson. I'm just asking questions. We're just having conversation. So he was poor. Kids made fun of him. They bullied him because he wore tattered clothes. Not the rich guy tattered clothes, the ones that Kanye West wears. You know the clothes that Kanye West wears? They look old and beat up, but they're actually very expensive. Not those kind. We're talking about the real bummy clothes that are actually really bummy. Okay? So they bullied him. They called him poor and broke. Listen to his nickname. They had a nickname for old Salvador Ramos. His nickname was School Shooter. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, Johnson. We're going to talk about some gun laws. We're going to talk about what the police did wrong. But we are not going to be done. We will not have done a sufficient job, and we're going to talk about the lack of empathy that we have for one another. Johnson, look, hey, we're going to have to address this. We're going to have to address this. We're going to talk about the laws. We're going to talk about the response to the police. We're going to talk about the response to the police. But we must also address the lack of empathy and sympathy and care that we have for our fellow man. Not just about Salvador Ramos, but if people are calling this young man the school shooter when he's 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16, sounds to me like he fulfilled his destiny. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they created this guy. It sounds like The onslaught of poverty. Hold on, guys. Oh, see, what I don't like, and I'm giving you guys a prelude. They want to say they don't want to make any gun changes, any gun law changes. Something's got to give, Johnson. To quote Jack Nicholson, something's got to give. You said allegedly knew him. Okay, so now people say they didn't know him. Now we're going to say people that look, guys, you got to believe something sometime. You got to believe something sometime, okay? Some of you probably think this didn't even happen. I know. Now I ain't saying terrible, maybe they didn't know him. They're just making this stuff up. Okay. Jesus Christ, Johnson. Jesus Christ. Everything that can be said, there could be somebody going, well, how do we know it's true? Well, you know what? That's fine. Keep it to yourself. I know you don't believe anything. I know. Probably don't believe that your parents had sex and had you. You probably thought, I don't know if my parents had sex. I wasn't there paying attention. How do I know that happened? How do I know my mom is my mom? So some things you gotta just take. Okay, so they nicknamed him broke. They nicknamed him Screw Shorter. No joke. He was able to secure and purchase 2 firearms and ammunition, which he used to kill 21 people and scar hundreds of people for life. This place is doomed. We're the dumbest country in the Western world. I don't care if we have Netflix, Lizzo, The Pillow Guy, and Bobby Flay. We are in trouble, Johnson. I guess it's possible to say it's not impossible. I'm saying it's not probable that this young man was able to save nearly $5,000. So this was on the arm. He got this on credit. Part of our system of being poor is to keep us down so we can't afford to purchase a set of expensive guns with 375 pounds of ammunition. Now, some of you may remember Chris Rock once said that since we can't outlaw guns, we should make every bullet cost, I don't know, $1,000 or $5,000. We're not being able to make guns illegal, but we can make it very expensive to shoot somebody. You might be upset with somebody, but you gotta look at that bullet and go, I don't know. I mean, I don't like you. But damn. I have to wait another 6 months before I shoot somebody else. This bullet's a $5,000 bullet. And Lord knows you'll be going back to get your bullet. So we're going to get into this, but this is my thing. I want to start this off now, and I want to say this. And I'm going to put my foot in the ground. This is where I'm taking my first flag. I'm putting it in the ground, Johnson. No one under 21 should be allowed to purchase an AR-15. I said I believe no one under the age of 21 should be allowed to purchase an AR-15. That is my belief. If you believe that, if you agree with that, give me a 1 in the comment section. Put your ones up, Johnson. Put your ones up. Because I believe that wholeheartedly. No one under 21 should be allowed to purchase or possess or own an AR-15. I said it. On the Tim Black Show, I said it. Right here on Freedom Friday. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. Oh. Now, I know there's going to be some people saying, oh, Tim Black, kids go to war, 18-year-olds go to war. Okay, well, that's fine. You're right. Go to war then. Go to war if you want to get an AR-15. I don't want you to go to war. I think when you go to war, you're doing nothing but killing other people. Of course, America has no problem with you taking an AR-15 and going to a brown country and killing brown or black people. Other poor brown or black people. They have no problem with you doing that, okay? I'd rather you did not. But if you are so intent that you have to go get yourself an AR-15, if you want to go on the service, go here to the armed forces and get your AR-15, sir. Oh, ma'am, whoever you may be, go right ahead. Have at it. Make it do what it do. I said make it do what it do. So that's my thing, okay? That's my core belief on this whole thing. Now, some people are going to say, Tim Black, AR-15s. Other guns kill people, and you know what? And I would say, you're absolutely right, Johnson. In fact, more people get killed with handguns. More people get killed with handguns, Johnson. Here's the thing, though. AR-15s give people the ability to kill more people at one time quicker. And AR-15s are more intimidating. Isn't that why the cops punked out? We're going to get to the punk out cops. We're going to get to the punk out cops. I also have this graph for you, Johnson. Let's see if I have this graph. I want to show you this. I don't want to show you that. My bad, Johnson. I want to show you this picture. And I put it out here for us. That's my bad. I had this picture that I wanted to share. Here it is. I made this out. I went through and I made this document. Now, this is the reason why I say. This is why I say no one under 21 should have an AR-15, because here goes a list of mass shootings where the killer used an AR-15. Now, I know there are other killings where shooters use Glocks, steak knives. Come on, I know somebody can find that. A vehicle. Okay, I know that. But still, here's the list of all the shootings. Any of them ring a bell? Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, New York, Las Vegas, Parkland, Sandy Hook, San Bernardino, Orlando, Boulder, Poway, Pittsburgh, Nashville, Midland. And I already know, Johnson, I'm well aware. I am well aware there will be some that say, Tim Black, you cannot guarantee to me that without having access to an AR-15, that those shooters would not have found another substitute weapon. And the only thing I'm saying to you is, you're right, I cannot prove that to you. It doesn't change how I feel about it. And you also cannot prove to me that they would have been able to rack up the amount of deaths, the body count, without having an AR-15 rifle. There's a reason why that rifle is so popular. Don't tell me because it looks so cool. It's good for killing people. Okay? That's part of the attraction. That's got to be part of it, Johnson. So, if we're going to have a conversation, we're going to have to try to keep it real. Let's keep it real, Johnson. Okay. What else do I have on this? I think that's... So yeah, if you're 21 years old, if you're under 21, you should not be able to own or possess an AR-15. That's just something that I believe. I realize it won't be popular with everyone. Thank you for putting your ones up. Now, let's go to, I got a couple of clips I want to share with you. The first clip, we want to talk about the police because it comes to my attention. It's come to my attention. In this town of Texas where the minimum wage is $7.25. I can't imagine Wendy's paying a whole lot more than that. Somehow the young man was able to amass enough to own 2 AR-15 style rifles, Daniels defense rifles, $1,870. Somehow, for some reason, for almost an hour, Salvador Ramos was allowed to be in that school, alone in the room with children, where he was picking them out one by one. Here's a response to the press conference about the shooting.
Thank you for doing this, and I do hope you stay here and take as many questions as possible. You say there were 19 officers gathered in the hallway or somewhere. What efforts were made to try and break through that door? You say it was locked. What efforts were the officers making to try and break through either that door or another door to get inside that classroom?
None at that time. The on-scene commander at the time believed that it had transitioned from an active shooter to a barricaded subject.
You have people who are alive, children who are calling 911 saying, please send the police. They are alive in that classroom. There are lives that are at risk.
Hey,
that's not protocol, is it?
We're well aware of that.
Right,
yeah.
But why was this decision made not to go in and rescue these children?
Again, you know, the on-scene commander considered a barricaded subject and that there was time and there were no more children at risk. Obviously, you know, based upon the information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject.
Thank you for...
Okay, so why didn't you go in? They didn't go in because they believed that he was barricaded, and suddenly this is now a situation where they actually want to take down the shooter. Now they want to allow the shooter to expend all his rounds into children. As long as they have him contained, it's good enough. I'm trying to understand the logic on this. I mean, for the last 2 years, we've been saying that we put too much money into policing. We've been saying over and over and over again, we need to reimagine the way that we're doing policing because it's not working, it's ineffective. I'm sorry, Johnson. You call this effective? Things got so bad for this, I don't even know the name of the guy that's being questioned. Before this law enforcement official who's answering these questions from the reporter, things got so bad for this law enforcement professional, he got exasperated. He just decided, well, I'm going to keep it real.
Benefit of hindsight, hey, the benefit of, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, all right? I got it, okay, I got it. Okay, hey, from the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was a benefit of hindsight. Hey, the benefit of, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, all right? I got it, okay, I got it. Okay, hey, from the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can. Hey, when there's an active shooter, the rules change. It's no longer, okay, it's no longer a barricaded subject. We don't have time. You don't worry about outer perimeters. And by the way, Texas embraces active shooter training. The benefit of hindsight, hey, the benefit of, hey, stand by, stand.
Okay, you heard it first here, Johnson, or maybe you heard it earlier. Texas embraces active shooter training. He said Texas embraces active shooter training. What kind of embracing are you doing, Johnson? When you say embracing, do you mean not at all attending when it's time for the training? Do you mean that when it's a training time, they're all asleep because they could not find any coffee and donuts? What do you mean by they embrace active shooter training? Because it would appear during this active shooter, they all took about an hour off. But I do want to say I do appreciate him admitting that what they did here was wrong. With no conflation, no set-asides, no excuses, this was not what should have been done. My thing is this, Johnson, if what they did was wrong, what's going to be the recourse for this? Yeah, what's the recourse when what you've done is wrong? When law enforcement obviously did not do their damn job, Johnson. Because we get to hear this all the time, how dangerous it is when See, here's the deal, Johnson. When there are black people, and yeah, I'm going to say it. It happens to some white guys too, but just nowhere near as often. Okay? Based on the number of pullovers or incidents. When you start looking at per capita, per number of pullover, per number of police interaction, black folks are 3 times more likely to be shot by cops, even when they're unarmed, even though they're more likely to be unarmed. So the cops have no problem being afraid for their lives and shooting black people, sometimes in the back, running away. But this guy, how many of them? There were 19. There were 19 officers. There were 19 officers on duty at this site at one time. I think that's the number of the officers. I know that's coincidentally the number of elementary children who were also murdered. There were about 20 officers at one time at this school. They did not breach. Instead, I saw footage, Johnson, of policemen arguing with parents who were trying to get into the school to get their children. We had parents outside this school fighting with officers. One parent had to be stunned, was tackled and handcuffed because he was trying to get inside the school and do what the police were unwilling to do, which was breach that classroom and confront that shooter. I want to make sure I'm okay for this part because we got to make this part clear. Because this is a serious indictment of law enforcement. A very serious indictment. Remember, this is a very close-knit community, a very small town. Uvalde, Texas is not a huge town. We're not talking about El Paso, okay? So there were some officers that were there on the scene who had children at that school. Do you believe that some of these officers who were unwilling to confront the shooter found way and found time to go in and make sure their children were secured and safely out of the building? Let me make sure we get this clear. Let's be very clear, Johnson, because I know how it's going to be, Johnson. I can hear it now. I have read reports that there were officers that were there who had children in this school, and they made sure to go into that school and make sure their children were safely removed out of the school. Meanwhile, there's an active shooter in the school in a room with children. I don't think it gets any worse than this. I think the gloves are off. I think this has exposed the underbelly of law enforcement. It has shown exactly what we've been talking about. Just because a cop is a cop doesn't mean that cop is worth shit. A badge does not make one a saint. Even unwittingly, Jason Whitlock of cow towing, ass kissery, buttermilk biscuit, buck dancing, soft shoe tap dancing Jason Whitlock, he even put out a tweet that indicted the police himself, unwittingly though. He says he believes that all the negative rhetoric about police has caused police not want to be heroes. Let me make something clear to you, Johnson. If it's your job to go in and secure a crime scene, if it's your job to go in and protect children, you are not being a hero. You are doing your fucking job. These officers did not do their jobs, Johnson. These officers did the opposite of their jobs. These officers relinquished their responsibility. These officers were negligent. These officers should be demoted. They should be fired. They should lose their pensions, Johnson. And they should be sued. And if they can't be sued, they should be jailed. That's what should happen to these officers, because these officers obviously, in the admission of one of their law enforcement personnel, under his own words, what did he say? What was done was absolutely wrong. This was not protocol. This is unacceptable. This is not how we are directed to engage. We have been trained. Hey, I don't want to hear they haven't been trained. What did our officers say? Let's make sure we're clear here. Let's make sure we get it. He said they've been trained.
Benefit of hindsight, hey, the benefit of, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, right? I got it, okay, I got it. Okay, hey, from the benefit of hindsight, where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can. Hey, when there's an active shooter, the rules change. It's no longer, okay, it's no longer a barricaded subject. We don't have time. You don't worry about outer perimeters. And by the way, Texas embraces active shooter training.
So they embrace active shooter training. They just do not adhere to the actual training methods that were prescribed in the training. They don't actually do the job that they were trained to do when it's time to do that job. So there's a governor's race in Texas. Beto O'Rourke is one of the candidates who just won his Democratic primary. Governor Abbott, Texas Governor Abbott was having a press conference, and Beto O'Rourke interrupted that press conference.
Benefit of hindsight, hey, the benefit of, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, hey, stand by, right? Benefit of hindsight.
Time I will pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this stuff.
Next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue. It's on assholes like you. Why don't you get out of here?
There are family members. There are family members.
Okay. First of all, normally I would give Beto O'Rourke all types of shit because I don't much stand for. I don't much support grandstanding. But come on, Johnson. These guys are not saying anything that's at all important at all, that is at all relevant. Nothing at all that they're saying is relevant, that needs to be considered. And I'm all about holding those accountable. And where do you get off saying that you're trying to make this political? Everything's political. Don't politicize it. Don't politicize it is just code for don't make us look bad. You're going to cost us our jobs. Don't make this political. It's just code word for, they've got us where they want us this time, Johnson. See, this is exactly what you need to do. You need to make it political. You need to use the politics in order to apply pressure to those that are in power. You know, a lot of people use the quote, and I've used it before, the quote from Rahm Emanuel. It goes something like, never let a Never let a catastrophe, never let a tragedy go wasted, or someone knows it, put it in the comment section, okay? Never let a catastrophe go wasted, or something like that. Here's the point. That is both a sleazy thing to say, but it's also very true. Because when a tragedy strikes, you are able to get things done that you normally would not be able to get done. People do not have the political will or to expend the political capital. But when a fortuitous situation addresses itself, such as you showing that our current system is not working, see, when you're just talking about theoretical, hey, this thing needs to be fixed. People go, why should it be fixed? There's no reason to fix it. Sit down, we got other pressing things. And then when things blow up, you say, hey, this is why you should fix it. People love going, oh, now you want to exploit this situation. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be one of those people. Please try not to be one of those people that go around defending the powerful by saying people are exploiting situations. When someone runs in your car, that's the time when you sue them for damages to your car. You don't sue them for damages to your car if they haven't hit your car. Okay? When you have a flooded basement or when the roof falls in because of high winds, that's when you get a new roof. That's when you go to the insurance company and get a new roof. They don't want to hear from you until you need it. It is sad because we are talking about human lives. We're talking about the lives. In this case, it is doubly sad because we're talking about children, okay? Okay? And I get that. But realize when you're being played. Not normally would not agree with Beto O'Rourke. And I'm not saying I agree with everything he ever says and none of that shit. But I do agree now is the time that if you have a problem with the laws in Texas, speak up. You don't think I would be talking to Larry Hogan's punk ass if now I had an opportunity to? Throw shit on Larry Hogan, my governor of Maryland? Yes, I would. That's when you're able to get the microphone to do such. But O'Rourke did not stop there. He went outside and he had more to say.
Time I will.
And he's now speaking to cameras now, so let's take a listen.
Greg Abbott in the state of Texas is the county jail system in the state of Texas. The largest inpatient mental health care facility in the state of Texas is the Harris County Jail in downtown Houston, Texas. He's refused to expand Medicaid, which would bring $10 billion a year, including mental health care access for people who need it. He's refused to champion red flag laws. When somebody says that they are having trouble, that they may kill somebody, they may kill themselves, a red flag law would protect the public. He's refused to support safe storage laws so young people cannot get their hands on their parents' guns. He's refused to support a ban on AR-15s and AK-47s. This 18-year-old who just turned 18 bought an AR-15 and took it into an elementary school and shot kids in the face and killed them. Why are we letting this happen in this country? Why is this happening in this state? Year after year, city after city. This is on all of us if we do not do something, and I am going to do something, and I'm not alone. The people of Texas are with us. The majority of the people of Texas are with us, but we've got to stand up to this. Or we just accept this theater and business as usual, and we accept the next shooting. We could have stopped this if we had stood up after Santa Fe High School, if we had stood up after El Paso. We are going to stop the next one. We're standing up right here in Uvalde, Texas right now. That's why I'm here. That's what the people of Texas want right now. That's what we're going to focus on.
Wait, there are more. And he's now speaking to cameras.
I have to agree on this. It is what it is. The broken clock is right at least twice a day, and in this case, he's right. If you're going to say, because what's happening right now, a lot of conservatives and different people who support guns are saying it's not about guns, it's about mental health. But those same people will not support Medicare expansion, which would give people with mental issues the ability to see doctors. So you can't have it both ways. Something's got to give, Johnson. If we're going to say that we don't want to support tougher laws and say if you tighten restrictions on guns, it is only going to affect legal gun owners. Last time I checked, mass shootings are mostly done by people with legal guns. Actually, the data on this is kind of inconclusive, to be honest. It's kind of inconclusive, okay? But if we were to eliminate some of the guns, we would eliminate some of the shootings of the certain individuals that had those guns. If certain people that had those guns, so that's the problem. You never know how many shootings have been averted unless you catch them in the act, okay? So that's part of the problem. But my thing is, if your argument is going to be that we need to look at the mental health of the shooters, suddenly you care about the mental health of the shooters. No one feels that way when there's something going on in the hood, though. When it's in the hood, no one's going on with the mental health. Have you ever heard them ask what was a Crip's mental health? Has anyone ever asked about a Blood's mental health? I don't know, one of the YSLs or something with Young Thug or something. Anybody ask about the mental health of those young people? No one ever asks that shit. It's amazing how when your ass is on the hot seat, all of a sudden, with certain people who have the complexion for the protection for the collection, we now care about mental health. But okay, fine, because I do support mental health services being available and accessible and usable for people. I'm not going to let my actually knowing how discriminatory and biased and racist these assholes are, I'm not going to let that affect my ability to see clearly that we need that. Okay, so fine. Yes, we do need mental health care. People do need to be able to see someone. This Salvador Ramos, in this situation, I don't know if it would have helped. But he'd been taunted for a long time. He has issues. They checked him out for a day and a half. They let him go. I don't know. But what about all the others? What about the new shooters? What about new situations? No one believes this will be the last one. So that was when you make changes. If you're going to say that mental health is part of the equation, and it's not just about the laws. It's not just about punishing law-abiding gun owners who are very reasonable with their guns. Fine. But in that same token, what about all the people who hurt themselves with their guns because they are depressed? I want all those people as well. See, it's not just about mass shooting. We cannot just look at one lens. On our camera, we have 3 cameras. On the iPhone, it has 3 different cameras, okay? They have Samsungs with the same thing. There are Samsung phones as well with 3-4 cameras on the back. Okay, so we need to be able to look at more than one lens. Don't just look at the mass shooting lens. Also look at the domestic violence lens. Also look at the homeowner lens. The person at home with a gun who hasn't had a job or who has got a diagnosis that's very unfavorable or who's going through a bout of depression. Let's look at all of these lenses and say, how can we cut the numbers down of fatalities with guns for all of these? It may only be 10% one area, 20% one area, 5% another area. But if that is your 5%, if you are part of that 5% and someone you love happens to be in that 10%, that's a big difference. That matters. And I think that gets missed because a lot of this is politics. But ladies and gentlemen, we're all people and we just want to live our lives for as long as we can on this ball of wax. Let's stop sounding like politicians. Stop sounding like goddamn politicians when you talk about this and realize when I say we need to do something, we need to do some things that will actually move the needle, you stop talking like it doesn't matter because you don't think it will solve everything. Okay? Once again, I do not believe an 18-year-old needs to own an AR-15 in order to have rights. Okay? I don't believe that. Nor do I think to protect your home, you have to have an AR-15. I do not believe that. Okay? That's bullshit. Now, some folks at Fox News had some thoughts about this. And, we already know what MSNBC is going to say. They're going to say get rid of all guns, ban all guns, gone. Well, I didn't know that. But I want you to hear what some of the Fox News people are saying because it's good to hear it from different vantage points. Here goes a clip of that.
New calls to harden soft targets in the wake of the elementary school massacre in Uvalde, Texas. The state's attorney general is calling for stronger police presence.
Look, we just spent $40 billion on the Ukraine to help protect another nation. It seems like the least we could do is fund a police officer or at least a program, because obviously there are thousands and thousands of schools in this country, a program that trains people in the school so that when this does happen, because it will happen again, we know it's going to happen. So if we know it's going to happen, let's do everything we can to prevent it from turning into the situation we just had yesterday.
And Daryl Scott, whose daughter Rachel died in the Columbine shooting, says the key to preventing more tragic shootings is by reaching out to young people.
There's two sides to the coin when it comes to prevention. Most of the focus that we have is on hardening the target, making it more difficult for people to get into the school, etc. And that's a necessary part. But the other side of the coin is softening the heart. There's hardening the target, but there's softening the heart. And our whole mission is to soften the hearts of young people.
Okay. Good up for that. Give it up for that. Now, I know it's real easy to be very dismissive, especially when you see the drunk judge. Very easy to be very dismissive. Now, the first guy, fuck him, okay? Seriously, he can go to hell, okay? Because his thing about we need more police presence. Yeah, you mean sort of like the Uvalde police who were afraid to breach the room with the one shooter when they had multiple policemen? They were afraid to breach one guy, and they allowed him to stay in a room for an hour, killing kids. You know, there were children in that room every few minutes calling 911 because they were hiding in different parts of that classroom while the shooter was shooting other kids. So, miss me with the whole, we need more police presence. I don't know. You know, you might need some police presence, but I don't know what kind of police you're talking about. Like, you need better police. Like, I'm one of those people that believe we need to defund the police, not get rid of police, get better police, get rid of bad police, and reallocate resources so we have elite police, we have people that just hand out warnings, we have mental health professionals that also go to mental health issues that rise, like cops, a flat-foot dumbass, 22 years old, pumped up off adrenaline, or a 25-year-old fresh out of Afghanistan, pumped up off of some type of human growth hormone or whatever, is not always the best choice for being law enforcement to show up at your house when you're having when one of your children is having a moment. A medical emergency, okay? We don't always see that guy. So I think we need to reimagine policing altogether, Johnson, okay? So a stronger police presence, okay. But I do like the second part. The second part where he says we need to help the kids. My thing is this, conservative folks, my conservative viewers. I got some conservative viewers that show up on Facebook and some people that are showing up on YouTube because even though they disagree with me sometimes, they don't disagree with me all the time. Shout out to my conservative folks. Shout out to you. But here's my challenge. Fund it. That's right, you gotta fund it. You gotta spend the money. You gotta be willing to invest and give people the access. See, part of the reason why we have people that are upset, when you say you care about these children, who are going through bouts of depression, who feel suicidal, who feel homicidal, who are having all of these emotions, they're not able, their brains are not fully formed, they're dealing with all of this stimuli, their lives are harder than you can imagine. They are bewildered. They see no way out. They're choosing guns because it's very quick. It's very final. Part of the problem is those children typically do not have resources. See, in America, we have a resource gap. Part of the resource gap is what applies so much pressure to the lives of the children, okay? So without resources trickling down to children and their families, where parents, once upon a time, a single family, A dad could work, a mom could stay at home if she wanted to. And they were able to keep the roof on, keep the lights on, keep the roof over here, keep food in the refrigerator. There were things we were able to do. But wages have not kept up with inflation. And who has been making more money? The CEOs, the corporations, not the working stiffs. That's part of why we say we need to support unions. See, you have to get your head out of the conservative playbook. If you say part of the problem, if you think that part of the problem is that there are young people, and older people too, because not every shooter is a child. The shooter in El Paso, Texas was not a child. The synagogue shooters were not children. So there are other dynamics here at play as well. But come on, guys, let's keep it a buck, Johnson. I never met a person, I personally have not met people who were so upset, who had everything they needed. I know it exists. I keep hearing about these rich, spoiled kids who have everything, who hate life. The affluenza white kid comes to mind. But you know what? I've never met these people. I heard they exist. They do lots of drugs and stuff, and they hate their lives, and they never feel like they're going to be successful. They watch a bunch of gravy videos, and they hate life. Okay, I heard about these kids. But you know what? I'm more used to what I'm used to being exposed to are poor children. People without resources, who feel at the end of their wits' end, who feel like there is no future for them, that there is no bright spot, that there is no hope for them. If they can't, look, if they don't have a wicked jump shot or they can't spit a rhyme, then they ain't got no shot except the streets. That is what I grew up under. That's what a lot of my viewers grew up under. That's the reality of it. So if you say you care, if you want less carnage, you want less shootings, well, we have to change how we run this country. If you're not willing to change how we are doing our politics, how our money's allocated, what our tax dollars go to, then you're just blowing smoke. You're just diverting attention away from anybody looking at your damn guns. Because you can't say you care about mental health if you ain't willing to put money and invest in mental health. You can't say you care about people being depressed. What are people mostly depressed about? Money! Where is your universal basic income? Where is your reparations, Johnson? Black folks, 13% of the population own 2% of the wealth and have been in the country 400 years, built this country against their will for free. We're never compensated. We're not able to create wealth in this country, have been blindsided, kneecapped, discombobulated, hobbled for their existence all the way up till today, and you say you care, well, we have to put your money, we have to put this country's money, America's money. If you can send money to the Ukraine, why is someone saying we can't send money down to MLK Avenue? We're sending money to the Ukraine. Why we can't send money to the Johnsons? Okay, the Johnsons, Johnson. So that's the reality of it. Last thing before we go to phone calls, I want to remind everybody, we're talking about real people. This story has taken so many, it's grown so many legs. It even knocked Amber Heard and Johnny Depp out of the news cycle. No one's talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. No one said anything about Dave Chappelle in 2 days. Even Ricky Gervais has somewhat kinda got a pass on his jokes because of this shooting. But I want to remind everyone, we're talking about real people's lives. Joe Garcia is pictured here. He was the husband of Irma Garcia, who taught for 23 years at the Robb Elementary School. Mrs. Garcia was one of 2 teachers who were gunned down, killed by the teenager gunman in the shooting that left 21 people dead. The couple were married for 24 years, are survived by 4 children. Here's Joe Garcia laying a wreath at his site in dedication to his wife. Mr. Garcia, after laying that wreath, he returned to his home where he had a heart attack and passed away. Folks, this is not just rhetoric. This is not just talk. This is not just about YouTube views or views on cable news or views on independent media. This is about what we're willing to do. This is about people's lives. We're just talking here. We're the loud majority of Americans that are talking about a very important issue. When people say this doesn't affect you, consider yourself fortunate. There are hundreds of people that were, if not in that room, are parents, cousins, aunts, nephews, sisters, brothers, husbands, wives, grandparents, grandchildren of people that were there or that were directly impacted. This is a problem for us all. We should all deal with it. All right, Johnson, I want to thank everybody who tuned into tonight's show. Let's now go to phone lines, Johnson. Let's go to phone lines. Let me get ready. Let me get some paper here going. I try to say calls in the order in which they came. I do my best at that. We will try to do that tonight here. I'm cutting up the volume on these, what we have here. Move this down a little bit here, Johnson. Get this out the way. Let's get this over here. Let's do this. Okay. You okay, Johnson? Got to make sure we're all set to go. When our phone calls start coming in, people got stuff to say, Johnson. I want to make sure they're able to say it. Okay, we got our phones up as loud as they will go. Let me go check and make sure we got phone calls. The phone number is 319-527-6212, Johnson. That's the number you dial into. Let's see what we got. All right, Johnson. All right. Let's start off with our 470 number, Johnson. I'm sorry. Okay. We're going to come back to 470. First, let me go to 304. 304, you are live. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Hey, Tim. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. What's going on,
Rob?
Rob?
Down here in West Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we got to give you a new nickname. We got to call you the Hammer. You hit every nail on the head, every monologue. We're going to call you Tim the Hammer from now on.
Appreciate you.
No joke. I mean, you know, it's tough listening through a quality monologue and trying to, you ask questions and it's like you want to have a conversation with you. And I'm trying to write down little notes here and there, like what I might want to say or try to help answer or something like that. And this is not going to be one of these shows where, you know where I come from, you know what goes on in my community and everything. And I'm not here to prop the gun on a pedestal. I'm not here to what the show's all about, all that nonsense. I'm just taking key points. You know, everything you said, I feel, I understand. You know, one of the things you said, you know, nobody under 21, and I'm going to disagree with you and say, I don't believe nobody under 25. And the reason I'm saying nobody under 25, because scientists for the last, I don't know how many years, says that a brain is not fully developed until it reaches about 25. And even stuff like that, times have changed. And of course, the cars and the guns and shit, the alcohol, none of that stuff's changed. But our culture has changed. When my 15-year-old decided he wanted a permit, I wanted him to have a permit. And I was trying to teach him how to drive. I got in the car with him. It was like, he is way too young to drive. There's too much traffic. The cars go way too fast. I don't want him on the interstate. You know, I was like, he's not ready. You know, I'm just like, even the other day, he's 18 now. And I even got to a point, I told his mother, like, I have a panic attack when I'm driving in the car with him because he likes to hug the center. And I'm like, In my area, you can't hug the center. Coal truck or something's going to come down the other side of the center till you can't hug the center, and I tell him that. And he was wanting to go a new place, and he was wanting to take his girl out, but he didn't know how to get there, and he was wanting to bring up directions. And I was like, all right, well, let's go for a drive. You drive me there, and I'll show you how to get there, and drive back, make you feel comfortable with the route. And I am just trying nonchalantly in the passenger seat, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. At the same time, this boy doesn't be driving right now. And this all happened. Backstory. He got his license during COVID, where he should have had driver's ed. He should have had proper instructions. And none of that happened. But he was allowed to get it because they wouldn't even let you. In my day, I had to sit in the car with a state trooper and go for a ride with a state trooper that didn't say a word, face forward, blank stare, told you where to go, how to go, and get back. It didn't tell you how well you did. The nerves were on. He got to ride in the car with his mother, with a DMV instructor that was pointing out in the parking lot to give him directions where to go, where she got to cheat sheet and turn your blinker on. You want to stop early. You want, stuff like that. And that's why I said, you know what, let him get his license this way, but he's not allowed to drive. I'm going to get him a driving instructor. I can't do it. But that's why I say the 21, 25, it's just so much things have changed, as far as the highway, the cars, the interstate. There's wrecks every day. To this day, I will not let him drive interstate. I will not let him drive places he's not allowed to drive within probably 10-mile radius. I don't want to make this a long thing, but oh my goodness. Yeah, they're under 25. I'm just thinking we've come to learn with technology and science that brains not fully developed. We can't make rational decisions at 25. Under that, my goodness, I was from 18 to 25, I was already a different person. From 25 to 30, I was a different person. When you talk about the ARs, it's so popular. Not that it's just a popular gun that's in the video games and just popularized through movies and whatever you say. It's a very cheap rifle to get. Now, the ones that this latest person got, he bought some high-end stuff, but honestly, I can tell you for a fact that you can get one and build your own for $400 or less. You can build an AR, you can buy what's called an upper and a lower kit, and go online, legally purchase these things and put these things together, and you can buy a 30-round magazine for under $9. You can buy these things for under $400, and it's popular because it's cheap and accessible. It is the modern sporting rifle, so it's out there. It's just everywhere on the market. You can get these things. However, these things have been on the market since 1956, 57. This platform, this style of gun has been out there. And, I look back at the cultural shift and changes when Columbine hit. I think that was the eye-opener. What's going on in the world today? Why are kids going to school shooting? Why, what's happening? Let's look back. And like you said, we can talk mental illness. We can talk all that stuff. I kind of lean towards, and like I said, I'm no scientist. I read, I do what you do. Even like Adam Lanza in the Sandy Hook shooting, he shot his mother first before he went to the school in Sandy Hook. This guy shot his grandmother before he went to a school. A lot of similarities, and a lot of bigger similarities. These are kids from broken homes. They didn't have pop in their lives smacking their ass. I've been married almost 30 years. When me and my wife found out we were going to have a kid, we were 10 years into marriage. We had some ups and downs. We had some ups and downs that could have separated us. And when we knew that we were having this kid, I said, pettiness aside, there was nothing that was going to break us up other than pettiness. I said, this kid deserves a chance. He will have a mother and a father. We got to stop the pettiness. Mom is a nurturing, caring person. Dad is a protective provider. When you talk about kids, Crips and Bloods, as far as what they're doing is out there. If my kid came home, if a mother and a father is in a stabilized home, and if your kid came home and said, Dad, I joined the Crips, Dad, I joined the Bloods, Dad, I joined MS-13, there would have been hell to pay. It would have never went down that route. I would have never taught my kid that's a lifestyle or that's a choice. He had a family here. He doesn't need to join a gang, but he has a family. This is the family. So there's a family unit. I mean, like I said, this gun problem is a multifaceted problem. And I believe that having a strong, stable household is part of it. Starting these kids on some of these psychotropic drugs at an early age, these Ritalins, and every kid's been labeled as ADHD and this and that, and these doctors want to start them on some of these drugs so early. Even my child, he's a very normal child, but he's a little backwards. And we knew that he was OCD at an early age, and we didn't want him to fall behind in school. We didn't want him to be embarrassed for his inabilities or something. We took him to get evaluated, and the first thing we want to do is like, hey, we can give him this drug, we can give him that drug. And I said, I looked at my wife and said, no, we're not going down the drug route. We'll figure this out. He's going to be okay. I did not want to start him. There was nothing. He wasn't a violent kid. He wasn't an overactive hyper kid. He wasn't an emotional kid. He was just an OCD. Things had to be his way for him to, whether his trains were lined up right or whether he could have a certain car that the paint was lined up right. It was just odd to me and my wife because, like, who is this kid? It's not us. You know, we're kind of laid back, easy going, and he was kind of uptight that at 3 and 4 years old, he has to have stuff certain ways. And we thought maybe that could hold him back in school. I didn't want him to be made fun of at school. I want him to float with the children. So we took him to get evaluated and all that nonsense. And the first thing these doctors want to do is throw the drugs at him. And I said, no, we're not going the drug route. We're not going the drug route. We'll figure this out. We'll read more books. We'll find other people. Drugs is masking a problem. It's not taking care of what's actually wrong. We'll work with this stuff like that. When you brought, moms used to stay at home, dads used to go to work, and that plays into vote for, hey, we need better wages. I'd love my wife to, if she wanted to stay at home and be a home mom, yes, I would love her to do so. And we talked about that long before the kid was born. And this is in my area, the mines were dying, and that was the big money ticket in my area, a coal mine. Now, man, if you could make it at the coal mine, that you made it, you had a lifestyle. Mom could stay at home. You had a decent lifestyle. They were dying in the 90s, and there was no coal mines to run to. And I told her, I said, you could stay at home, you can be a home mom, but you're not going to like the lifestyle that I can provide in this area unless we move. Because it's going to take two of us to get where you want us to be. Because if it's just one of us, we will live in a trailer park. We will have broken down car. We will have nothing, just barely to move forward. And that's part of, like you said, as far as our living wages, our economy. I know my value, I know my worth, but I know the market will not pay for my value and my worth. And that's a big problem.
So in 60
I understand
seconds,
that, and I hate the fact that...
Yeah, 60 seconds, Rob. Wrap it up for me, brother. What would you say is...
You're saying it right. I mean, how do we defund the police when we only trust them to have the guns? How do we choose that they're the ones that we look to that have the firepower and, the civilians don't? I'm just saying that there's so many facets to this conversation that it's not going to get answered in one night, one session. And this is not the last shooting we're going to see, but something has changed culturally, mentally, and stuff in the last 30, 40 years because the guns have always been there. The mental problem or just the ability to want to shoot your grandma, shoot your mom, and go shoot children in school, which is fish in a barrel, something's wrong. There's something wrong on the whole everything. But, I'm going to let you go, and I want to listen to the whole conversation like Tim. They love you. Tim the Hammer, every nail you hit.
My brother, I'll get up for my call, Rob, man. I appreciate him. That's my brother right there from West Virginia. And I love his perspective, man. It's always honest. And he's been a great caller on this show for damn near 10 years. I do want to add this because I might have some viewers that relate to this. So before I did this, before I was doing videos, content, before I had the Tim Black Show, I had a regular job like anybody else. And I was in computers. And finally, I started making a little bit more money. At the time, my family and I were living in apartments in an area called Capitol Heights, Maryland. Anyone familiar with Capitol Heights, Maryland? No, it's a pretty rowdy place. It's right next door. We're talking 2 minutes walking distance from Southeast D.C., which is where my father's from, and which is a very high traffic, before gentrification, sort of crime area, right? So it was a rough part of town where I lived in Prince George's County, in Compton Heights, Maryland. And when I started making a little bit more money, I was like, wow. I had to make a decision that I wanted to stay in this cheaper area, right, where I could save more money, be able to make certain other financial moves, or would I be willing to move, take my family and move into a better area where there was less gunplay, frankly, less gunshots at night. I mean, guys, that's what we heard. At night, you could hear gunshots firing off. It was more of a police area, police up and down the streets. More crime. So, Rob, I had to make a decision. This is like 15 years ago. I had to make a decision. Excuse me. I had to make a decision about what was important. Do I stay now make a little bit more money at my job? Does the family stay where we are, put more money in the bank, and just tough it out in the hood for a little bit longer? Or do I take my money and go now and pay more to rent something, hoping to be able to buy at some point, but pay more in rent just to be in a safer environment? And I had to think about it. And at the time, my son was only like 2 or 4 years old. And I decided, I think he was about 2. He was a newborn, actually. He was newborn. He was like 1. So I was like, wow, he won't even remember this place. But I decided, no, that was my youngest. I'm sorry. My oldest son was about 7, 8. I had to make a decision for him. I already had my daughter, and I decided it was better for me to move the family out of the hood into an area that was a little safer, cost hundreds of dollars more a month, but I felt it was the best move to make because I had to make a decision about the safety of my family and knowing the environment in which they were going to stay. We could have saved money. It was a dilemma, though. It was a dilemma, but I had to make that decision. And Mrs. Black, she went with me on that decision. She understood why I wanted to do it, and we did it. And it was times I wondered if it was smart because we're paying an extra $700, $800 a month to live somewhere, not to own it. But I felt like we needed to get out of that area because the gunplay, the killing, the shootings, that shit's real. And it's not always someone else. What about the people that don't have that opportunity? See, that's the thing, Rob. When they're talking about all this, mental health, they're talking about depression, they're leaving out neighborhoods that are just basically unsafe because people don't have access to resources, where people fight for resources, where people are living beneath or near to the poverty line, where people do not see a bright and sunny day, where people are not optimistic about life, where people are scrounging, and some people have drug dependencies issues. And a lot is going on. Mental health, drug dependency, lack of resources, poverty, all the soup. And we're not hearing these people that don't want to blame the guns, I'm not hearing them talk about remedies for those issues I just described to you. So anybody who knows what I'm talking about, when I talk about those types of choices, see, when they're having these conversations about guns, how often are they talking about the dilemmas that parents and families and working class families, middle class, under middle class, poverty line class, people have to decide and grapple with in order to move their families or to deal with their families or to raise their children. This is where a lot of children come from, okay? This is where a lot of it comes from. But people don't even want to have the conversation. Instead, they want to take a broad brush and paint it as if these parents don't care about their kids or that these parents don't have any values or any ethics or whatever. So I just wanted to throw that out there because, Rob, you shared with me about your situation with your son, who I know you love very much. I wanted to share my story about my son, TJ, and how I made that decision. And I hope I made the right decision for him. With all that being said, let's go to phone number 470. 470, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
What's going on, Tim? This is Damon in Atlanta. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Hey, man, I just want to give you a shout out and acknowledge you for moving on up, man. I saw you on the Hill this weekend. Congratulations on that. Shout out to you on that. And also, too, wanted to give a gentle reminder to everybody that we're in the midst of primary season. And so there's a certain cognitive dissonance that we have with a lot of the voters in that every election cycle, we always hear about how people hate their elected officials, how Congress sucks, politics is not working for us. But yet and still, how is it that 90% of those scumbags get reelected every single time? So with that being said, it's almost like when you get to the general election, you're kind of screwed. But now is the primary season, so now you have the opportunity to get rid of the people who need to get rid of, because come November, when it comes to Democrat and Republican, I'm like a lot of the wolf pack in that I don't identify with either party because they both suck. However, there's a lesser of two evils, and the Republicans have basically made a death pledge with the Trump wing of the Republicans. So it's almost like the Democrats are the only game in town. With that said, the Democrats that have the ability to be primaried, and I give the example of Jim Clyburn. That dude is a fossil. He's got to go. He's been in office for 30 years. He's done nothing for people in general, but specifically black people. And Marcel Dixon is running against him in the primary. So anybody who lives in South Carolina, please, please, please go for Marcel Dixon over Jim Clyburn and get him out of there. And it goes for anybody else in the country. If your elected official has a primary opponent, please vote for anybody other than the incumbent, because the incumbents have to go. The fact that we have lifelong politicians, there's a direct correlation between how terrible this society is right now and the fact that we have politicians who've been there for 20, 30, 40 years. Because when you've been in there that long, you should never have to campaign on anything. You should be able to say, look, these are all the things that I've done. Most of the times they never have to do any of that because they know they got it in the bag. A lot of times they run unopposed. People just assume that, well, they've been there that long, they must know what they're doing. They absolutely do not know what they're doing. All they're doing is, especially on the federal level, they're able to get paid a six-figure salary, the health care that we pay for, and they get all high and mighty. And just like the people like Nancy Pelosi, she's been in office for decades. And on her salary, she's almost got like a net worth of like $100 million. Do the math. They are self-serving, almost all of them. So really, when you see an incumbent, again, I go back to I want to wrap it up, but when you see an incumbent on the ballot, unless there is just something just fantastic they've done, vote against them. Vote for somebody else. Vote for Mickey Mouse. Write in whoever. But the reality is our politics is a direct correlation between the people that we allow in there are there because we don't really care anything else. So get the people out of there that have done nothing, and in the new blood that's trying to come in the door. Don't say, well, they can't win. They can't win if people just automatically assume that the incumbent is going to win. So I say all that to say that get rid of the people who've been in there doing nothing. Let the new people shine. Tim, love what you do, man. Wolfpack.
Good enough for my caller Damon in the house, man. Good enough for that brother, man. I appreciate you. Yes. And like I said, if you don't vote, you don't vote. I get it. I understand. But I encourage you to get rid of a fossil today. And I agree with Damon. We gotta get rid of the old, get in some new blood, man. We really do. To your point about the Rising, brother, I know you kind of new to the channel, brother. I used to go on Rising all the time, right? In fact, I'd been there like maybe 5 times with Crystal and Saga back a couple years ago. Then I had a little falling out with certain individuals because I'm standing up for black people and I'm doing my thing. You understand what I'm saying? Things kind of happen, but Ryan hit me up, yeah. So I appreciate those guys hooking me up, let me come through, and we'll see what we do. We'll try to make the rounds and do some more work and try to spread the message, the glorious evangelical message of kiss my ass. Your politics ain't shit if it don't include us, and let's fight for the people. Let's do that. So I'm gonna go to the next call, man. 312. 312, you are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Yeah, how you doing, Mr. Black? This is Brother Jay from Chicago, and I'll make my quick points here. I do agree with the brother who just called. We actually should have a national holiday where people can be off work and actually go vote. I think that would make a big, big difference. And the other point is Michael Jackson had a song which was very significant, which was called They Don't Really Care About Us. And that song really says it all because we currently have what I call a high-profile political class who thinks that they are above it all. They have the best security money can buy, and they feel like nothing is going to happen to them. And then we also have the Hollywood class, which feels the same way, and the corporate business class, which also feels the same way. All of these people live in gated communities. They have the best security that money can buy. And so, in other words, what happened in Buffalo, their feeling is those people don't count. We don't count. If we are not in those three classes of high profile, high earners, we do not count. What happened in Texas, in their minds, it does not count. They will talk about it 2 or 3 days, and it will be on to the next thing for them to talk about. Obama made a very revealing statement when he was in office, when he said that some organizations, some businesses are too big to fail. In other words, he's saying some people are better than others, are too significant that they cannot go under, that they are different. In other words, he was supporting the inequality that goes on in this country, which is sad to say. I would say in the last 50 to 60 years, the worst two presidents we have ever had, which have destroyed this country, have been Ronald Reagan, who destroyed the unions, that destroyed people's jobs and livelihoods, their ways of life. That whole family structure that the guy 2 calls ago talked about, destroying unions is what Ronald Reagan did. Bill Clinton, second most horrible president that there's been in the last 50 to 60 years. All the jobs which left this country with NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, and then his mass incarceration. Crystal Ball on the Hill did she's done more than one section that talked about how horrible Bill Clinton was his 2 terms as a president. And I'll just basically wrap it up there. We live in basically a country now which is all about inequality and greed. And until we can get the same level of security that Nancy Pelosi, her Republican, basically, people, U.S. reps, U.S. senators, those people, the level of security which they enjoy, when you can get that level of security in public schools, then you'll see a turnaround. Until you can get that demand, that level of security in public schools, in churches, that the what I call American oligarchs have here, then very little will change.
My brother, give it up for my caller, y'all. I appreciate that. Very, very astute call, man. I appreciate the attention to detail on that call and the truth-telling on that call. And I tell you, brother, there are a lot of us that fell for the shenanigans under Bill Clinton. Because remember, he could play the sax. Remember that? He could play the sax, brother. Come on, Jay, you remember that. Bill Clinton was one of the first to use that camera, to use appearances on late-night television. He broke the book on that bullshit of feigning to be pop culture. Remember that? I remember that. Him going on the Arsenio Hall show. There are still so many people that are blinded by the celebrity of presidents or popular people who want to go with the flow and just agree and don't want to see what's under the hood. They just care about the outside of the vehicle. They're not even starting the car up, checking to see if it's leaking oil, if it's burning oil, nothing. And that's part of the problem. And when you point out, hey, this car, it smells like I'm smelling something out of the exhaust, that ain't right. This car's not gonna last for us. It's not a good buy. They get upset with us for calling it out. They are so beholden to these people that actually work for them. They're actually working for the people that work for them. And then attacking us for holding those people to a standard. That's a standard that's gonna help us, which they're a part of. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world when you have to deal with that. And unfortunately, that is where we are. Brother, so many times I'm calling out those who are in power and those who are lying and deceiving and doing it all for money and financial gain and power grabs. And we have people gatekeeping and defending it who do no due diligence, who do no research, who do no fact-finding, who do no data mining to understand even what the allegations are and that they're founded not in hate. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of people saying people are hating. Motherfucker, who came up with this damn phrase hating? You know, I hate this. This phrase hating has been the demolishment of so many movements and so many positive movements or actions we could take. Because they just call you a hater instead of actually giving validity to your claims and actually investigating it to see if you're actually doing it for a reason. Instead, when you criticize Hillary Clinton, they say that you're a hater, that you don't like women, that you hate women, that you are sexist, or that you are a Russian stooge. Get what I'm saying? Don't investigate what you're pointing out. Don't bother to look. So I'm going to next call, man, but I appreciate you, Jay. We need to make sure that the part of the reason why we have this show, why we have the phone calls, why we have people that can call into the show and speak truth to power, one of the beautiful things about it is, hopefully, if they don't listen to me, Johnson, they listen to you, Jay, or they listen to Damien, or they listen to Rob. Sometimes you need it in a different voice so you can stop listening to the cable news bullshit. 651, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Oh, hi. This is Tyler. So your point about people like under the age of 21 having an AR-15, I agree with your point. Honestly, I think I'm 20 myself. I'm a year out from turning 21, and I feel like a lot of the life experience that we're yet to have is and a lot of the things that we're still dealing with as young people. I feel like that's I feel like that needs to be talked about like a lot more. I'm not like making excuses as to like, I'm not saying anybody should like go out and like or even think about doing heinous acts like that, but I feel like I do think we need to raise the ages for that sort of thing, for like getting a weapon. I honestly don't really understand why anyone would really need to have like an AR-15, or at least like have it out at all, unless you are in a really dangerous situation and you feel the need to protect yourself. Like what? I just don't understand like the whole gun culture in general. I don't know why in America we're so obsessed with it. And I also don't understand why people only tend to bring up gun control when it comes to like Black people defending themselves. And I don't know. It's a mess. I didn't want to go too long, but I just wanted to speak up and say that I love the show. I love the callers, and yeah.
Hey, brother. Well, Tyler, thank you for the phone call. You did very well. Give it up for caller Tyler on the phone call. Yeah, I understand. Look, Tim Black's an old man at this point. I wasn't always an old man. At one time, I was 20 years old. Okay? But I know what it's like not to think that you have a future. And thank goodness I was wrong. I did have a future, Johnson. I know what it's like to not know if you're going to live to be 21. I know what it's like not to know if you're going to live to be 18. I know what that's like. I know what that desperation is. I know what the loneliness is. I know where it's almost like, what's the point? Okay, so there are people that live that way. That's their lives. I also understand there are people that just think certain things are cool. They think a gun is cool. They like it because it's a cool gun. And as Rob pointed out, it's you can get an inexpensive version of that gun. It feel like you're part of the cool team. It's like anything else that people like, whether it be cars, shoes, whatever. Some people like guns, like some people like something else, whatever that is. It's a certain name of thing that you personally like. The problem with guns is they have different utilities. It's not so many things you can do with a train station. Okay? It's not that many things there's things you can do with a car, you can run into people, but you get what I'm saying, like a gun is built and made to shoot things. That's what guns are built for. That's what once the gun is not there, so they're also, so that's part of it. It's just the nature of a gun is to cause damage. You're not building anything with a gun. You're either killing food or you're killing people or you're shooting at targets. Like, this is what's going on, okay? Which a projectile comes out and you could shoot someone. So there's also the issue that, hey, look, guys, there's some people who have guns for protection because they need protection because they live in environments where other people have guns. So they feel like they need a gun in order to protect themselves. Then we have people that want guns because they feel like they just want to have guns because it's cool to have guns. They were raised with guns. I had one of the Tim Black Wolfpack say since he's had a gun, he's had a rifle since he was 13 years old. This is the culture of America. But what I want people to realize is that there are other people that are dying because of this culture. And there are different things, different steps we can take that can help lessen that. One of them would be giving some young people opportunity. I think I'm always on that side. That's my first thing is, hey, some young people need some opportunities so they have other options beside that corner. I've always felt that way. Remember, I didn't grow up too far from Baltimore, grew up in the heart of D.C. So I'm always going to be on that shit. My life was The Wire for a while. I'm going to go to the next call. 571, you are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hi. Good evening, TB. It's me again, Belkis from Virginia.
Hey, how you doing?
I love your show.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us this outlet to speak. I want to share an article real quick. I'm looking at it right now. Police have no duty to protect you. Federal court affirmed this yet again in 2018 after Parkland shooting. Some of the students sued the school district, sheriff's office, school deputy, campus monitor, but the federal judge ruled that government agencies had no constitutional duty to protect students in this case, but it's actually towards all citizens who were not in custody in this case. But there were similar lawsuits going back to 2005 that I remember. Justice Scalia had written that opinion, the same thing. Government agencies, police does not have the obligation to protect citizens. They can pick and choose. They can choose not to intervene, even if a threat is apparent. So just Google it. Google the statement. Police doesn't have the obligation to protect citizens, and you'll see all kinds of articles about that. There are two. Deschaney versus Winnebago. That's one, and the other one is Town of Castle Rock versus Gonzalez. One of them is from 2005, like I was saying. So we are told to believe that this is a two-way street. We pay our taxes in return. We get the protection, security from police, but this is not a real contract. If they choose not to do this, there's a very little remedy for us. Very little. We keep paying our taxes. And so if there is any punishment, monetary punishment, again, we pay that with our taxes. Maybe sometimes some administration will change. That's about it. So if more of us know what the truth is, maybe paradigm will shift a little bit. Our thinking will shift a little bit. Why we are right when we say defund the police. I mean, police where I live, you know what they do? They manage the traffic for Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, like the lines get too long and it obstructs the traffic, and the police will go help. This is a routine thing. This is where our tax money goes to. I was wondering, in this Texas town, I heard that it's 70-80% Latino population, correct?
Yes.
I'm wondering if the police is also Latino or not Latino. They are as well Latino?
Not sure.
The police mostly Latino?
Not sure, sister.
Pardon me?
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, because as soon as I heard the news, I said, oh, okay, so there's another people of color community and they don't feel the urge. They don't, like, maybe they don't give a damn. That's what it, I wanted to say that this is looking very uphill, this fight. It looks really uphill. It's really, the Republican Party, they're not going to do anything that's going to work for anybody.
Okay, sister.
It's like those two parties are like this couple at a marriage council. Like one of them
90 seconds.
That's like me being a woman. I'm thinking, okay, so the husband is not going to give an inch. Okay, so they are talking, but no, Republicans are not going to give an inch. They already know. And it's all money in politics. Supreme Court passed that law. Citizens, corporations are
60
citizens.
seconds.
I keep saying we got to cut ties with these corporations. stop shopping from Amazon, stop drinking Starbucks. You don't need the Apple phone. You don't need the iPhone. Stop it. Cut them. Now, you're not going to get 90%, 100% contribution on it. Like, everybody's not going to join such a resistance. But, you know, when Wall Street drops 3%, even 3%,
10
all the
seconds.
investors start panicking, right? Because that 3% in their scale is a big number. We have to resist.
All right, give it up for my caller,
Thank
ladies
you.
and
Have a
gentlemen.
good night.
You got it. Thank you for the phone call, sister. I appreciate it. Whew. So according to this caller, there's an article out there that says that police are under no obligation to save you. Police are not there to protect you. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hit like. I need you to share this. Is there people still there? People still here. We need to share. Oh, what's going on? Let's get the shares up. Check this out, guys. The caller says that the police are under no obligation. Hit the like button. They're under no obligation to save us. Does that give credence to the idea that people have that they need to have their damn guns? Remember, guys, this is not about, what we're trying to do is have a dialogue. What we're trying to do is understand one another, right? Is that what they're saying? Is that what these people who some of the people, not everyone, but there's some people saying, man, you can't count on these damn cops. I'm staying strapped because I don't trust these cops to do a damn thing for me. And I don't know why you do. I don't know why you do. Is that what people are saying? I'm trying to understand it, Johnson. And what I'm saying is the sister just ran. She said cops under no duty to save us. I started this off. I told you. The reports are saying that there are officers who showed up on that scene who went into that school and retrieved their children and left other people's children there with the shooter. Went back to safety because they was good. Felt really bad about it, but I'm going to go to the next call. Let's go to the next call, Johnson. Whew. All right, so I have a 636 and I got a 402. Then I got some other calls. Let me go to 636. 636, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Oh, this is funny. I've been waiting this whole time to talk, and the previous caller brought up exactly what I was going to bring up. And then you actually said what I was going to say towards the end, but I'm going to make it a little bit more simple. The police and the government and all this stuff, and this is what I was getting at last time when I talked to you, they don't care about you. It's that simple. That's why I've been carrying a gun for most of my life. The police are not here to protect you. That's why if I was a teacher, I would bring a gun to school every single day. That's why I'm pro-gun. I also know that since politicians don't care about you, they're never going to pass anything when it comes to gun regulation at all. Don't count on it. Don't wish upon a star. It'll never happen. What will happen is there will be another mass shooting very soon. You could set your watch to it. It'll probably take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. There'll be another one. And we'll just rinse and repeat over and over and over again. What I was getting at last time when I called is what's happening is society, the country itself, is falling apart. And the reason it's falling apart, Tim, is because of all the stuff we talk about is not happening. Stuff like universal health care, fair wages, getting people access to mental health care, just basic stuff, caring about one another. We no longer care. We are so desperate trying to support ourselves and our families that we do not care about our neighbors. We don't care about anything but ourselves. That's what it comes down to with politicians, corporations, and now it's even celebrated. It's literally celebrated in our media. If you look at popular music, if you look at Donald Trump is a perfect example. He was president for 4 years. What kind of person was he? Was he like Bernie Sanders? Did he care? Was he, oh, we need to help the poor, we need to help the sick? No. It was, you're fired. I'm in charge. I'm the alpha male. We're going to kill him. We're going to do this. We're going to bomb him. We're going to tough guy this. That's where we're headed, Tim. We're headed into even darker times. Nothing's going to change, except for maybe things are going to get worse. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction.
Wow.
Because what that woman was saying is absolutely true. The police have no obligation to risk their lives to save yours. Now remember, on 9/11, the firefighters, when the planes hit the buildings, did they stop themselves from going inside the buildings because they knew they would be putting their own lives in danger? No. They went into those buildings knowing that their lives would be in danger. But see, now, Tim, we're in a place now where people worship the police. We're in a position now where police are not expected to put their lives at risk for others. That's where we are now. So the way I've actually shifted politically. I used to believe in gun regulation. I used to believe in all this. You know what I believe now? Buy a gun. Buy a gun and learn how to use it and protect yourself. Because the police are not going to help you. You know where I live? I live right outside one of the most dangerous cities in the country. You think I go to that city thinking if something bad happens, I can depend on the police to help me? You're out of your mind if that's what you think. I have a gun because I know the police can't help me. And even if they could, they wouldn't. They would watch someone else shoot me before they'd even think about doing it. In fact, the only thing that'll get a cop to shoot you is if you try to shoot them first. That's the only thing. Because, and yet, at the end of the day, for a police officer, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to make a living and make it home to their family. That's what they're there to do. That's what they're doing. You think they're a cop because they want to be a cop? You think they're a cop because they want to be a hero? They want to make $45,000 a year so that they can live in a nice house, so that they can live in a nice neighborhood. Outside of the neighborhood, they police. This is the reality, Tim. I don't live in a fantasy world. I live in reality. And that's why I carry a gun. That's why I've been carrying a gun for most of my life. And by the way, my grandfather was a police officer for 27 years. And you want to know something funny about him? He was a murderer and a wife beater. He raped people. He was one of the most deadly, most vicious people I've ever known in my life. And I've known a lot of twisted people in my life. None of them are anywhere near as scary as my grandfather. Police officer, there to protect you. That man looked me right in the face and said, Neil, for every drug dealer you've ever met in your life, there's a narcotics agent that's 100 times more dangerous. And he can kill you and get away with it.
Woo!
Because he knows how to do it. And he's got friends that will back him up and cover up for him because he's protected them and they're protecting him. It's a family. It's a club and you're not in it. I know this because I almost became a police officer, but I turned away from it once I saw the truth of the culture and what it's really like. I realized that I couldn't become a police officer because I'm a decent human being and I would be forced to do things that I wouldn't be able to live with myself with. This is the world we're living in now. We're not living in a world where the police are there to protect you. And no, that's not the world we're living in. So my advice to your viewers, buy a gun. Learn how to use it. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Because the cops are not going to do it. The teachers should be bringing guns. They should be protecting the children. The cops aren't going to protect you. You're dreaming. We're not going to pass gun laws. Are you insane? Last time they tried to do a ban on assault weapons, 13 Democrats voted against it, including every single Republican. Where do you think this gun regulation is going to come from? The sky?
Damn.
You're dreaming.
Boom. Boom, Johnson.
I know, I hate this. You know, it's funny. I've gone so far left that I've actually popped out on the other side. You know, Marx was actually pro-gun. He actually believed that citizens should have the right to bear arms and protect themselves. And I'm starting to think the reason he thought that was because he understood you cannot trust the state to protect you.
My brother.
And it seems now everyone's starting to wake up to that, finally. Finally, people are starting to go, yeah, it's all like the police really want to protect. You think?
My brother.
How many times do you have to see a cop murder an innocent person? How many times? I mean, it's like I'm living in that movie, Idiocracy.
Oh, Groundhog's Day.
It really is.
Right. Teddy.
Well, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, Tim. I like you. I think you're a straight guy. I really do. And I think you genuinely care about the welfare of this nation. But I'm telling you, Tim, you're all alone. You're all alone, Tim. No one gives a shit. Most people don't give a shit.
My brother. My motherfucking brother. Give it up for my caller, y'all. I appreciate the shit out of you, brother. You have no idea how much.
I appreciate the shit out of you.
I appreciate it, man. Look, man, this give it up for this caller one more time. This is my caller, Teddy. And I want you to know, guys, that Teddy just made the cost of admission make sense. I want you to know that Teddy just said it all. See, here's the thing, guys. I told you this year, we're going to be taking this show to new places. There's this little area, Teddy, we could walk. It's an area that if you walk this way, you may get opportunities to do certain things in your life because it's the comfortable area. People like what you're saying. People will, you will get rewarded for carrying said water. Okay? That's the area, Johnson. But unfortunately, that area, that way that you have to walk, the way that you have to talk, will not always be honest and sincere and real with what's happening in the world. That's the problem. Those things don't always match up. In fact, often they do not match up. What my friend Teddy just said here is the truth. So while we're sitting back, if you're one of these people that are sitting back, and this is why I want to be clear with people, if you're sitting back pissed off at gun owners, you have to listen to them and understand why they own guns. They want to paint this picture of this mongrel in this basement, drawing pictures of black people and Jewish people and gay people and shooting at it. They want you to have this idea, when in fact there are some people that are like Teddy, who are just aware that if they don't protect themselves, no one's going to come help them. No one's going to save them, that they are in this shit alone. And if you feel, and that's another thing, a lot of the guns, a lot of the crime that you hear are people protecting themselves. Because resources, people are fighting over resources, Johnson. Someone's got resources, someone doesn't, and it's a fight for resources. All these things are happening at the same time. But they want to paint these certain narratives, Johnson, that are not accurate. They're lying to us, and people are buying it. And that's why I'm so glad Teddy called up, because Teddy crystallized it. I'm not saying this is every situation, but we have to be open-minded enough to listen to different points of view. Fox News won't say this shit. This is the problem. Okay? Just because they're on the right doesn't mean they're going to say this shit. Ben Shapiro's not going to say this. He'll say you should be able to have your gun. He won't say you should have your gun because cops are shit. He won't say that part. If you don't say that part, that makes us further separated. Because everybody's going, why do you think you should have guns? Oh, you think it's okay? Let's all operate under the notion that no one thinks it's great. No one agrees with children being slaughtered. Let's just all respect one another enough. Let's all respect one another enough to give each other the benefit of the doubt that no one thinks it's okay to shoot grandma and grandpa at the grocery store, even if they're black. Okay? Let's take that, whatever those people are to think that's okay, let's take them out the equation. Stop operating as if you believe that's half the country. It's not half the country that thinks grandma and grandpa should be shot at the store. Okay? Okay. Now let's also take out of the equation these people that you think it's okay their babies got shot. I'm telling you, people are not articulating it as well as Teddy has. I'm going to go to the next call, but I appreciate Teddy for articulating this. Very simple. And like I said before, that's the beauty of this show. I try to do a decent job, but every once in a while, you need to hear it in a different voice with different words. And that's why we have phone calls, Johnson. All right, let me go to the next phone call. And feel free to disagree with Teddy. If you disagree with him, don't disagree with him just to do it. Be honest. Have your own point of view. Okay? All right. 402. You're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Is this Tim Black?
It is. Who's this?
Oh, shit. Matt from Omaha.
Matt, what's up?
I called you once before a couple of years ago. This is only my second time calling. I'm very excited to be calling and talking to you.
What's up, brother?
You have a bigger platform than I do. I only have my non-existent friends. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say this and put this out. I promise you there's no swear words. I just want to, give me a second. I'm going to pull it up so I can read it because I can only read it. Hold on for a second, please.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
I've been waiting forever, dude. All right, here we go. And this is in regards to the shooting in Texas, the shooting in the church with. I'm white, and I don't remember people say that like racism isn't inherent. Are you goddamn kidding me? We've been born, it's been inbred into us. Because I'm not a racist person. I'm not a homophobic person. I love all people. But then, you know, I don't say the N-word, but anyways, I just want to say this about the whole goddamn gun culture thing and what just happened in Texas. To the heartbreaking, outraged, and scared parents who have had the talk, quote unquote, not the sex talk, the safety talk with their kids. I have no idea, or I have an idea for a protest that actually might work. For anyone that wants to hear me out, just listen. All right, so on a day of our choosing, across this entire nation, across the entire country, left to right, up and down, east, west, north, and south, across America, we need to, we bring our children to a place, okay, so we all get together, right? Through our own social medias and what have yous, we will connect. I've already sent this message out on YouTube, on a ton of videos, anyways, so the whole point is we'll just in our own communities separately, but on a particular day, we will conduct a mass protest where we have, I mean, come on, our kids are being taught how to not anymore duck under the desk from a fucking nuclear bomb. They're being taught how to hide from a fucking sniper or gunman.
Okay, yes.
And so my idea was that we get enough people across the country and, you know, secretly kind of, you know, execute it. And on that day, you know, there's all these kids all over the place. Fucking New York, California, South Dakota, or, you know, North Dakota to New Mexico.
What do they do? What do they do, brother? What?
Well, I'm saying that when they do that, it would just draw attention.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my answer, because, look, I was going to read something, but I'd rather talk to you, actually. So, because I've already posted this all over the fucking internet anyway. So.
All right. So the best way we're going to handle this, John, so give it up for my caller. The best way to handle this, Jama, this, my friend, Matt. Matt, the best way to handle this is for you to call up to the show. No, not call the show, I'm sorry. The best way for you to handle this is for you, my friend, to email me at tim@timblacktv.com. That's right, you, my friend, email me at timblacktv.com, tim@timblacktv.com, because you've been drinking or you've been smoking or you don't have your thoughts together, and we got to keep moving. It's late. It's 2 a.m. on the East Coast. But I thank you for the phone call. Let's go to the next call. We got other people in the queue that have been waiting as long as you. 980, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim, it's Andre. How you doing from North Carolina?
Andre, what's happening?
I'm good. Look, you said a few things there that caught my attention. For example, when you said that this last incident was a serious indictment of law enforcement. My question, well, not so much a question, but my statement to that, as callous as it may sound, is, to me, this sounds like just one more horrible thing that these pieces of you-know-what have gotten up to, because I'm sure none of us have forgotten any of the myriads of other things that they've done, and the most recent one that shocked the world was someone with a pan face literally sitting on a man's neck until he died and did not care. So this should really not surprise us. Everything that we're coming to find out is just kind of like, it's shocking, but at the same time, it's not. And that is really horrible. I am concerned about what these things are doing to the psyche of the country. I personally, I don't have kids, but I have spent 2 nights that I have not been able to sleep properly. I spent today crying at different intervals. I had to take myself out of work for an hour and speak to my manager to compose myself. I'm really very good at compartmentalizing stuff. And I was not able to do it today because it's just too much badness, wickedness, and indifference. I wanted to bring up a candidate for governor. She's Hispanic and Native, and her name is Delilah Barrios. She was on an interview on one of these other progressive channels, and she said something that also caught my attention. She said that she can understand if people are nihilistic and they don't think that the electoral process is for them. She just wants them to get out and do something. If you're not going to vote, I understand, because sometimes you check out and you feel that things aren't going to happen, but do something. My problem with that statement, like a few callers before, is that the other side never checks out. Think about it. The other side never, ever checks out. They are there with their oxygen tanks, 90 whatever years old, to vote for their misogynist, their racist, their homophobic, their Islamophobic candidate of choice, their white supremacist candidates of choice. They do not get up. They do not give up. As a matter of fact, they see it so important to get their way that they block our ability to vote. They see it so important to get their way that they set up poll watchers, okay? Because they recognize how important it is to show up for their evil and vile candidates. Now, I understand. Before everybody and their brother comes and wants to have me for supper, I understand that the other side isn't much of a resistance and that the other side is just a pushover. I'm talking about the Democrats here. But until we get our behinds together, until we organize adequately to the scope of the situation that we're in, where we have a mass organized movement that we can actually get our people in office. At this time, in my very personal opinion, the best thing that we can do is delay the disaster. Because right now, look at where we are. You have spent many episodes saying that people in this country don't realize how close we are, how bad things are. You have said it before. We are really in a very difficult situation. I feel that until we get organized where we can actually get our people in, and it's important to get our people in, because then I understand people that have given up, that don't believe in electoral politics. But at the end of the day, one, the other side is not giving up, and two, these people that are being elected are putting laws into practice that are making it difficult for people to live. If we get more of these right-wing people elected, they can pass laws. Look at what happened in Florida. They can pass laws to make it difficult for you to protest. So just like what this woman said, that, oh, I understand if you don't go out to vote, but do something else of substance. What is the something else? Activism? If they make it illegal to protest, then what? We actually need to get people elected in office to pass the laws that we need. I understand your previous caller's frustration, and I completely see his point as well. I, as a person that do not believe in weapons that way at all, I can see his logic, and I have thought about it. I, as a foreigner, have thought about it, because what he's experiencing is called a failed state. A state that cannot provide for its citizens the basics of security is a failed state. And this is why people grow up with this animosity and this instinct of, I have to look out for myself, this selfishness, this greed, all of this comes from when you do not trust and believe that your state is able and willing and capable of protecting you. So people are out for themselves. People are arming themselves. This is where all of this originates. But I want to sum it up by saying that all of these things that we want to see happen, defunding the police, and all of these things are not going to happen if we do not organize to the scope necessary to get the people that we need in office to get this to happen. And finally, look at what happened when Nina Turner ran. When Nina Turner ran, they pulled every stop, all their big guns. They got every penny out of their banks to stop her. And we're not going to get everyone to pass, but we should not look at the failures. We should look at the people that have succeeded when we do organize and when we do back the people that will represent us. Like, for instance, I can't remember her name, but this girl in New York that won by a narrow victory, but she won. These things can happen, but we have to not give up and stay home. We have to get out, we have to vote, and yes, activate on the streets and do all the other things, but we need to get out and we need to vote because these people are not staying home. Thank you again for all you do. Have a wonderful night and take care.
All right, thank you for the phone call, Andre. All right. I want to try to get everybody in. I know it's getting very late. It is 2:30 here on the East Coast. Let me try to get to folks before the phone lines go down. 870, you are live. What's your name? What's your comment? You're live, 870.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. Hey, Tim, this is Tiffany J.
Hey.
And calling from Arkansas. There's a couple of things that I just wanted to mention. I think there hasn't been enough emphasis on locking the school's doors. I don't know a single, and I can't say it enough, I don't know a single elementary school that I can just walk right in and have access to the students. Also, I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I thought you said something. I'm sorry. Okay, and another thing, to my understanding, the police were chasing this guy and chased him into the school. But let's just be real. If that guy was a black man running into that school, he would have been shot well before he made it to the door. And another thing that I was thinking about, just, my point of view, I find it quite odd that during the time that the NRA is supposed to be in that state to have their conference, that this all happens. Do I think that there'll be special interest groups that would think about sacrificing children to push an agenda? I believe that there has been special interest groups in America that has done things for nefarious reasons before, and so I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that now. But if you wanted to understand a reason why, one of the reasons I don't think, I do agree with you as far as people should not be able to buy AR-style rifles, AR-15s, under the age of 21. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There's not a reason for it. But I do say once it comes to all the regulating, or banning rather, for those who want to just ban outright, and talk about banning all guns and things of that nature, coming from being a member of the black community, I don't support that at all. I encourage, especially black people, get your guns. I do believe that if we became like Australia, where the only people, here we don't have the exact same government that they have exactly, and a lot of governments across the world are horrible. But why would we want to start down a path where the only people with guns are the ones that, police officers in the black community right now, we're already struggling fighting each other still. And they're able to, kill us, and not have to pay for that at all. I wouldn't want to disarm us, and I do believe there are special interest groups that do have an agenda to ultimately disarm us. And I think coming from the Black community, I believe that we would be the first and the most that would be affected. They would get us first. We're at the bottom of the totem pole every time, so we would be the most affected. We would be the first to be affected. So, and I do find it quite odd. This young guy, these 18-year-olds, all of a sudden, they're having all of this money. They're able to do this, that, and the other. He's being picked on for being poor. He was arguing with his grandmother about a cell phone bill, but he at the same time had money to go buy AR-15. Come on now. Something is wrong with this. Like you said, who activated this guy? Who's activating these people? Because I find it very strange that this happens right there whenever the conference for the NRA is coming together, for them to do things. So, I say be careful with going down the slope of banning things, because for the Black community, we will be the number one group that get hurt first. You will not be able to defend ourselves, things of that nature. Every community in the world will see us at the bottom of the totem pole. Just to be 100% honest, nobody is protecting us. We only have ourselves. So I don't think the Black community, those who are gun-toting, law-abiding citizens, I'm a strong supporter. Everybody go and get your guns. Get your guns before they ban your ability to do it. Because literally it is for you to not be, if the government is committing tyranny, you need to be able to defend yourself. So you say, why have a high capacity weapon? Well, I mean, you have certain police precincts rolling around in tanks. They get military grade weapons that are the overflow from the military because we give the military too much of a budget. So, yeah, you may need them. You're not supposed to have government tyranny every day, so don't expect war every day. But you want to be ready when it does happen, because trust and believe, once they start disarming, start banning things, our community is going to get hit first. We're going to get hit the most, and we'll be the least able to defend ourselves. So I'm going to tell especially the Black community, go and get your guns, get licensed, train, do what you can, because we're on our own. We're on our own. Ain't nobody else looking out for us. So get your guns. And that's
All right, next caller. Appreciate it. Lord have mercy. Okay, as I stated, Salvador Ramos got his guns on credit. He didn't pay for those guns. It's crazy that a 17-year-old would get credit, but I've been informed that's pretty popular how these kids get these guns. They get credit lines from the private gun manufacturers offer credit lines, apparently. I don't think it's a conspiracy that a white kid shot up a school. It's happened several times in this country. There's been a lot of shootings. There's been over 200 mass shootings this year. This is just one we're talking about. It's not a conspiracy. There's been 27 school shootings. There were 24 last year. In 2019 and 2018, there were 23. Every year there's shootings. They're not figments of imagination. They actually happen because people have guns. We have more guns than people. And as far as, and look, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but Jesus Christ, Johnson, guns are not going to save the Black community. What's going to save us is economics. That's what's going to save the Black community. We need some motherfucking money. We don't need, guns that's not what's going to do. We're not going to go to war with the United States government. The United States government has enough bombs and guns to flatten Chicago, Detroit, D.C., or Maryland, and New Jersey, and Alabama. Like, this is not going to happen. With America, it's shown to have absolutely no problems killing Black people, whether armed or unarmed. No hesitation whatsoever. This idea that we're going to defend ourselves against the United States is fucking crazy. To me, it's just people say stuff just to say it because other people say it. It don't make any fucking sense. We're a superpower. America is a fucking superpower. If you want to get a gun, fine, get a gun. But let's not have a delusion that you're stopping some shit from the government. You might stop some shit from somebody on your block if you are quick and first, but you ain't stopping shit when the feds come for your ass. You know what I'm saying? You're not stopping shit in that circumstance. This is like NRA boost talk. I bet you we could dig down and draw a line directly from someone at the NRA or some of the lobbyists, gun manufacturing lobbyists. We find that one of those lobbyists to whoever's spreading this, we gonna stop some shit because you went and bought a Glock. Now, motherfucker, what more than likely is gonna happen is what happens, which is you're going to shoot yourself because you're going to get upset one day or drunk or high, or somebody in your family's going to shoot themselves. This is what happens with guns. This ain't the mystery out, okay? More than likely, you are much more likely to be shot with your own shit than you are to shoot an intruder. I'm just giving you numbers, okay? You're more likely to kill yourself with your own gun, okay? You're more likely for someone to steal it and kill someone. Someone kills someone with your gun or robs a place with your gun. I'm not saying you should not get it. You legally can own a gun, I'm fine. But let's stop operating under the delusion that having a gun is going to stop. But fucking economics is what's important for us, I think. I'm going back to the next call. 561. You are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim, this is Ty.
What's up, Ty? What's happening, brother?
Out here doing it. I'm glad you got me. I had to hop in the car. I got to go driving on my door. But I called. I don't know if it was a year ago, a little over, a little less. But I talked about a friend of mine who I'd known for a long time, went to high school with, that I thought, had the possibility of becoming a mass shooter. And thank God he hadn't done it yet. But I ended up having to call your show because I called every therapist, every counselor I knew how to find on Google all in a row and asked them, like, what should I do about my friend? I'm not sure if, how to get him the help he needs. Like, I sure as hell can't call him up from 2,000 miles away and be like, hey, man, some of your behavior makes me think you might shoot up the Galleria or go down to Del Mar and shoot up all the black people, he's not going to respond to that. There's literally no resources, even when you are concerned about a person you think might be going down this path. There's no resources at all to turn to. And he comes, and I've known him since high school. You see the progression of, where he comes from. Like after 9/11, they sent us home from high school early. We go back, a group of us, to his house. His dad is sitting there on the couch with a loaded gun. And then we're in there. And, he's got to come to me because I grew up around a lot of white people. And he comes over to me and starts telling me, it's okay because I'm not an Arab and all of that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, we got up out of there and went to Jack in the Box pretty quick after that. I mean, terrible day to just go to Jack in the Box, but what else are you going to do when you're a kid and you're going, that happens and you're in the middle of the country. But you see where this guy comes from. You see how he gets a little bit of money. Now he starts buying guns and stuff. And if you call the police for some kind of wellness check, he hadn't done nothing wrong. I can't send the police over there. All they're going to find is legal guns in a safe. He's alone. He doesn't have any kind of wife or kids. He hasn't broke the law. It's not like they can arrest him. And, there's just no resources. There's nothing to do. And I really think it's only a matter of time. So, what do you do? I don't know. But I tell you what.
Wow.
To go back to what you said, something really early on in the show about him having a nickname, school shooter. I know kids can be mean and all of that, but I mean, these young kids that grew up with all these school shootings, They see the signs.
Uh-huh.
They had him pegged.
Yep.
Did the kids? I know there's a school counselor, right? Like you'd think they do nothing for this kid. He's supposed to get some kind of help in school. If kids are bullying him, calling him school shooter, that might be something somebody should notice. I don't want to sound callous. I know kids are mean. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but people put off vibes. Anyway, let me get to work, Tim. Thanks for letting me have my time.
Give it up for my calling time, man. That brother, man.
I don't know what else to do. You gotta. I don't mean to laugh. It's not a funny situation. I apologize.
No, you good, brother. I get it. It's like, what do you say? What do you do? 312, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment? 312. You're live.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Tony.
What's up, brother? What's going on? Yeah.
So this tragedy has reminded me of my own white privilege, because I remember in 2014, after Michael Brown was killed, we learned that it was white policemen in that black neighborhood, and those white policemen live far away from that community. And in a safe white suburb community where I live, the policemen are only a few blocks away from where I used to live. And I remember when I was 10 years old at school, we had, one of those school trips to the police department. And, they had us have a trip over there, and we got to sit in the back of a police car, see what it was like. And then in 5th grade, they were there at school for their DARE program, which I hated. And it's just a reminder that in white neighborhoods, mostly white neighborhoods, the policemen are friendly with people in the community. But in most Latino neighborhoods or black communities, the policemen are hostile to the people there. And it makes me wonder why those cops in Uvalde didn't want to go into school. Now, I don't know if they were white or Latino or black or what, but it seems like that was an example of racism right there, because they didn't want to go in there and endanger their lives, because they might have been saving the lives of Latino kids. And this whole thing makes me realize that all the people who were saying defund the police over the past 2 years were 100% right, because that police department got 4% of the budget. But what did they do when there was an emergency? They did nothing. And I remember, this past Tuesday was May 25th, 2 years since George Floyd's murder. And that was a great summer, I thought, because it seemed like there was a lot of hope that summer. I was glad that there was this protest movement going on. And I was kind of sad when it ended. But that whole summer taught me a lot about how we need to think about police differently. And they shouldn't have these giant budgets that are larger than the school budget. And you mentioned earlier that Ramos was bullied when he was young. And bullying is a big problem that I faced in school as well, and in my own childhood. But it seems like there should have been somebody to stop him, to tell him that was the wrong idea to do. And
Jesus Christ. Okay, brother.
I wish that he had gotten some mental help, so he could have gotten therapy or somebody tell him that was the wrong thing to do. And I'm just going to end it here by saying we need to defund the police.
All
and
right.
It's sad to me that there's no one actually saying that.
All right, thank you for the phone call. We appreciate it. 919, you are live. What is your name? What is your comment?
Hey, this is Calvin from North Carolina.
Calvin, what's up, brother?
Yeah, I was thinking about when your caller said, I go overseas, like travel, and people from other countries like, why do you Americans do this? Why do you do this? It don't make no sense. Racism, this, that, this other ism, that other ism. Well, I tell them that's just how America is. I said, welcome to America. But it's like, like all these problems just seem like corruption is just the root of all of it, And, you think about, like when your callers were saying, military-style police, I don't think they should be doing that. You look at cops, they're members of these fraternal white supremacist groups. Some of them, you got some Hispanic cops on the West Coast that are member of gangs. Mm-hmm. They want you to respect, the badge, respect the gun and all that stuff. But they didn't even go into that school. They sat out there waiting for whatever and didn't go in there and attack that killer and stop him from killing all those little kids, all those little lives. People who never hurt nobody dead now, And, it's just, me, I think to myself, what's the cause of all this stuff? I mean, did it seem like to you it wasn't this crazy when we were growing up because there was no internet? Is the internet causing all this crazy mess just to build up and fester or something, It's like, oh, my God, I just don't know. But, and then I think about how, Democrats, Republicans, they play off one another. They don't do nothing. They ain't going to do nothing. Even when they have majorities, they don't do anything that's to the benefit of the people. But then Joe Biden, he went and signed that executive order, about police and stuff. But it don't affect federal law enforcement officers. They don't interact with regular Joe Blows like me and you in our community, It was just a whole bunch of, pandering, just pandering to make people seem like he's doing something because he hasn't really done nothing, And what gets me is like, he gives $40 billion to Ukraine, Joe Biden does, for his little war he wants to have. But $40 billion, that would easily end poverty in this country, And like you said, a lot of the problems are economic. Some of it's social, where people have these long-hidden, things that they just love to have against one side or the other. But still, most of it's economic. $40 billion would go a long way here. Instead of sending over to Ukraine, giving the money to Nazis, who, in my opinion, Nazis aren't people that I think the United States should be funding. But, what can you say? It's like up is down and down is up now. But, it's like, I can't even believe that. Like the same week, there's like 2 more attempted mass shootings. It's just crazy. And then, it's just intentional. And, I mean, both sides, Democrats, Republicans, ignore these violent things, and they just give us just empty lip service. They're just seem like in cahoots together, and they blame the other side for not doing nothing of this. And then it's just like, instead of doing anything to solve problems, and that's what we're supposed to send them to. Send them up to Washington, D.C. to solve problems. But my thing is this, like the guy who was rambling on earlier today, he was saying we need to do something. I said they don't do nothing once they get up there usually. I mean, it's like window dressing. I said if you want to get something done, you got to hurt the people who control the politicians, the rich people. You have to have some type of walkout or something where everybody does something and says, hey, we can't do this until you guys actually do something about this or something. But would they do anything then? Who knows? Probably not. We just had a pandemic with people dying. Over 1 million people did. Well, what they do? Nothing really, except crumbs for the masses, But still, we got to keep, fighting good fight, I guess, because every little inch is better than not going nowhere, But, it's like, what can you do? It's like, cops, they're supposed to be the police that serve, protect. And what do they do? It's like certain groups. But then what do we have to do? We have to instill in them, they instill to instill fear in people and to crack eggs, but not all people. A lot of people, they get away with their little things, just like when Kyle Rittenhouse, he was doing his little mess. He just then walked right into the cops, and they received him like he was a brother in arms. And then Dylan Roof, when he shot up that church, they just gingerly and said, "You want to go? We're taking you to Burger King, get something to eat." Okay, I'm like, is that just so obvious that they are just coddling these people? If should have been anyone. I've seen black people get shot for not even having a gun, not even doing nothing, just laying on the ground get shot. But these people have murdered people, got guns, and they're not quick to pull out and start lighting up the place with them, you know? But then my other thing is like, you know, it's like, you know, what can you do? Like I said, hit the rich people in their pocket. Because the only thing they respect is losing their money, you know? Like Putin's doing right now.
All right, brother.
All those sanctions against him. And
I got to go to the next call. I got one last call in the queue. I have one last call in the queue I want to get to before the phone's cut off. Thank you for the call. 707. You are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Tim, is this you?
This is me. What's up, brother?
Hey, Tim, I got you?
Yes.
Hey, Tim, I'm going to take it a little different. I guess here's my thing. I'm 45 years old. I've been a pacifist for 28 years. As a 17-year-old, I was that shooter. I was doing drive-bys. I was doing that shit. I was out there. I got locked up for what I had to do. I had mentors when I was locked up that taught me how to be a man. Tim, you there?
I'm listening, brother.
Brother, all I'm saying, we've got to we have to approach this differently. We have to tell these young men there's a better way. There's a better way, brother. We don't need this. We don't need to go this route. These kids need to be understood. You know, Tim, talk to me here. What do we do?
Hey, brother, it's on you, man. It's your phone call. What do you think we should do?
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, what do we do? I was that guy, man. These young men have to know they're loved, right? What do we do, Tim?
Wow,
I'm talking to you. We're men. You and I can talk. You and I have been through it. We're OGs in this shit.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do with these young men that have this violence in their heart? How do we treat them? What do we really do? What can we do to improve their lives, to make society better? How do we let them know they're loved?
Wow, brother, that's the question of the day, man. That's a good question. I don't know exactly how you let people know that they're loved that you don't know. Damn, brother. Damn. What do I suggest? Okay, so for me, what I do, you know, with my kids, is I love my kids, you know, and I'm not forcing my kids. My son can come back home today. He does not need to be out there trying to make it happen. And if things aren't happening, he does not need to get desperate and do anything desperate in order to, quote unquote, succeed or make his bones, or prove to the world some other shit. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, same thing. If my daughter, she can come back home. In fact, she's home right now. Right now, as I do this show, my daughter and my granddaughters are in my house. So that's one thing we do. One thing we do is we open our door. We don't have this attitude that when our children turn 18, get out. That mentality, if your parents operated under that mentality, realize that was bullshit. Realize that everything that was done to you should have been done. Do not normalize counterproductive actions or treatment of your kids because it was done to you. Just because you survived it, does that mean your children will survive it? Does that mean someone else will survive it? Yes, so that's what I would offer. That's something that I would want more parents to recognize. Also recognize we're all scarred, we're all products of our environments. We're all products of the way that we were raised. And sometimes that's not so good. And that who you choose to go through life with is important. It's important that I have a Mrs. Black to counterbalance my bullshit. because I'm high strung and I'm out there, but then Mrs. Black is more calming until you get it wrong. And then I can reel her and she can reel me in. So it's good to have a team. And if you don't have a team, you have to create a team. And if you can't create a team, then you have to be the team. It's too important for you to phone it in. You cannot phone this in. We cannot be so selfish that we neglect our jobs as parents. We cannot be so selfish that we omit the next door neighbor's kids. We gotta talk to our kids and talk to our neighbors and talk to one another and be active. And all of that may not be enough. It may not be enough, Johnson. It may not be enough. But I believe, Johnson, that we all could play a role. We could do a better job than we're doing. My caller said Michael Jackson had a song. I used to quote that song often a lot. They don't really care about us. America will keep going and keep on, just step right over us. That's what America will do. And step over our dead bodies and keep it moving. And go on to the next way to make profit, to extract profit, to raise dividends, to pass on profits to their shareholders. That's what America will do. The United Corporations of America, that's its primary goal. We're all trying to figure it out. I'm telling you, I believe this is just another symptom of the true moral decay of this country coming to a head. Dr. Cordell West said it best. The moral decay is around us. This is it. To my caller Calvin earlier who said, is it worse now? In some ways it is, in some ways it isn't. I'll tell you, actually doing research this week, I found out that there have been much gun violence in this country. It is up based on the last couple of years, but the numbers were worse in the 80s and the 90s. Once again, our 24/7 news cycle. Our 24/7 news cycle has put this on repeat for us. But the gun deaths in America were worse in the 80s and in the 90s, and then we hit a low, and now it's slowly creeping back up. That's what my research tells me. Mass shooter is defined by some entities as anytime 4 people are shot, whether killed or just wounded at one time. That's the classification of a mass shooting. So there you go. That's all the information that I have, brother. I wish I had better answers for you. I will try to get some. It is very important. I think it's vitally important that we tell the truth and shame the devil. I want to thank all my callers tonight, Johnson. I had some damn good callers tonight. I appreciate you making this show better than I could ever do by myself. I appreciate you phoning in, speaking truth to power, adding the benefit of your experiences to tonight's show to make it a better show. Remember, this show is brought to you by you. That's right. This show is brought to you by you. Nobody else is funding this show. Ain't no Democrats funding us. Ain't no Republicans funding us. People are funding us. The people like you. So if you enjoy this content and you want to see this content continue, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack, starting at only $5 a month. We don't take credit. Go to jointimblack.com. That's jointimblack.com. I'm tired. Let me go read the comments. Woo! Who we got in the house? We got Tony D. The police didn't do anything to protect those kids. Looks like another reason to defund the police. Seriously, though, those officers are cowards. Shelter Hughes, let's get this party started. Love you, Tim. Keep doing your thing, brother. Cut the check. Now they become a member and share it out. Cut the check. Darwinism. Bowes, as a dual citizen, Canada has near zero mass shootings per year. To get guns, you need to take tests, like a driver's license, background, mental checks, etc. The fantastic Cheryl Van Epps. Thank you, Cheryl. Teachers, Bo says teachers equal teaching, not military combatants. Will says, great job, Johnson. Thank you, Will. I appreciate it. What a night. I feel like we did some good work tonight. We did some good work tonight, Johnson. I know. We came on late, but we stayed late. We stayed till the phone lines went out. The phone lines are gone, Johnson. But I got every caller, so thank you, callers, for participating. It's because of you. We made this show hot. This is a hot show tonight. I didn't mean to be, I don't know, man. I had to try to push and get everybody in. I'm glad to know I got everybody in. It's always my job, my goal, to get all my callers in. Let everybody get a chance to say something. If you sat on that damn phone and held the line, I want to be able to get you in. Makes me feel bad when I miss a call. What else? That's it. I got nothing but love for you. A lot of food for thought, says Lady Jackie. Thank you, Lady Jackie. I appreciate you. That's it. S. Daly. Thank you, my friend. Good show tonight. Yes, it was. Woo! Third Eye Twist said, rolling blunts. I feel you, and I understand. That's it, guys. Be safe. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, crew. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, Wolfpack. Thank you, Tim Black's Wolfpack, all my supporters. I appreciate y'all. Be safe. Have a great weekend. Happy Memorial Day. And I'll see you on the next one, Justin. Wolfpack. Yeah.